And now, from the bowels of the internet, in the Hate Big Podcast.
Podcast is on the air, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. You know, this is number 20, a great big number for a great big podcast. We welcome you to this show, I'm Yell Chaos. Join me as always, the ruinous Razor Fist.
It's a great big throbbing show, actually, Chaos.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. The slaughterous Sainted Magnus.
I'm just gonna kill things, fuck it.
And the one guy, no matter what her living states, would destroy Phyllis Diller, the annihilative Alpha Omega Sin.
I'd bang those brittle bones harder than anything has been on the Gong Show. Bong.
Bong.
Heyo! Anyway, welcome to our show.
Beyond the grave.
No, not beyond the grave, like right before the grave. I mean, this guy means business.
Yeah,
Anyway.
people are robbing the cradle.
Necrophilia.
Hey, it's good. It's good for you.
It's good for what ails you. Welcome to our great big throbbing show. You know, we got a lot to talk about and not so much time to do it in. So
well,
you know what? We're gonna talk.
At least if you know good, at least she won't tell you about it.
Oh, talking like that. Hey, anyway, you know we're gonna have this discussion right now. We're gonna, Alpha Omega Sin has been on a big nostalgic kick for 26, 27, 28 years, something like that. So. He said, we should talk about it. I said, what should we talk about? He says, we need to discuss our favorite video game ads. And I thought, that's a great idea. Because on the internet, there's all been so much speculation about how Sony's actions as far as advertising kind of mirror that of Sega during the time when we were kids, for those of you who remember. Alpha, do you remember that?
I do.
You remember way back when you couldn't do this on Nintendo? Because Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't.
That's right.
Well, Nintendo don't.
Fuck are you people? When did these commercials air? I never once saw them. I
Right.
never saw them once.
All right, stop.
I think that you were in an alternate dimension and all that shit just wasn't available there.
Well, maybe, wait, I got an idea. Since you guys in Arizona don't have daylight savings, maybe you don't have video game advertisements either.
Yeah, you guys don't get the same commercials as us, which is pretty bullshit. And I say you write to like some senators or some shit.
See, that's what it must be.
Hey,
you guys
now.
didn't get Sega commercials the same way Texas doesn't get Thomas Jefferson in the history books. See, that's what it was. It's a regional thing, I understand. Saint Magnus, were there special advertisements, in Britain when you were growing up?
Yeah, we had a few Nintendo ones. We didn't have the Genesis does bullshit, but we had a lot of Sony did some good ones. Like the third place for PlayStation 2, for example, and a lot of the PlayStation 3 adverts. Especially when they were just being announced. So there weren't that many, but the ones we did have were quite memorable.
You know what one really can stick out for me, and Saint Magnus, you're a big fan of the Sega Saturn, as am I. I enjoy the Sega Saturn,
Yeah.
and now I need to ask you, this coming from me as a North American, did you guys have the same whacked out, trippy, acid bullshit that we got as far as Sega Saturn advertisement? The girls with the horns and, what was it a different campaign? Did you see any of that?
Oh, we had a similar campaign, but it felt like we were on crack when we saw it.
That's pretty much how all of them were. They were.
Yeah.
There's one. It's supposed to take place inside of somebody's head, and they're showing like all this stuff on a movie screen, and all the people in the audience just start flipping the fuck out, and it's just you need to see it. It's one of those things like this. This is fueled purely by nothing but acid. It has to be. There's no way that any of this ever came to fruition any other way from somebody who was just like, yeah, I'm completely sober. The fuck you were. It was awesome. The Japanese Sega Saturn commercials were awesome. What was that?
Shintaro. People were talking about it in my life. That's the one. He was just running with a... Did he have a Sega Saturn on his back?
Yes. And he actually got that song that they used for the adverts released as a single, which what the Japanese are like. They always do daft things, so
Oh well, that's what they're best at.
Yeah, they tap pill.
See, I remember video game commercials being either really fucking.
You remember a
hammy?
video game commercial?
I remember well, like that's the thing. They're only flashes. I was never like beating it raw to these video games. They're fucking commercials. They're still getting in the way of my fucking Ronin Warriors or whatever the fuck. But it's like I remember them being either really hammy or really gross. Like I do remember that Yoshi's Island commercial where the guy's eating the fucking food and he explodes and shit. The one that AVGN was talking about on that one episode. I do remember
I don't
that.
recall that one.
And I remember the Mario RPG commercial where the grandpa is telling the story to his kids, and then they're showing clips from the game, and grandpa is clearly off his fucking meds. Like I remember that shit.
I remember there was one, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, they were advertising, and they had every single video game mascot since Mario, all bandaged up, and Ty's walking through in between the hospital beds where they're all tied up, going, "Who's next?"
Dude, there was
You know, I do remember. I gotta throw Sony a bone here. The Crash Bandicoot commercials were always good with the dude in the suit running around.
I was just gonna
Stupid
bring that
shit.
up actually. My thing was, I remember watching those commercials, and by then I was already a teenager, and I'd figured out what advertising was, and I said, "Why am I supposed to buy your product? There's a guy, and I can see his face through the mouth. I don't understand." Because every time I saw those, he's like on a ramp, and I'm like, "Is Super Dave gonna ride a moped over him or something?"
Hey, I have to ask, in America, right, do you have, the DS adverts? Do you have some B-list celebrity that's trying to sell them to you?
We actually have A-list celebrities here. The advertising for the 3DS and the Ocarina of Time 3D, they got Robin Williams and his
Well,
daughter.
that's obvious because he is known as one of the biggest Zelda fans on the planet.
Is he
named his
really
fucking
known for that?
daughter
'Cause I didn't
Zelda.
know that until.
He named his daughter Zelda.
Yeah.
I know. Look at her. She looks. Ugh.
Well,
Don't-
she came out of Robin
don't-
Williams. What do you want from her? Man, she came out of Robin Williams. You're lucky she's not a fucking Brillo pad, for fuck's sake. That man is hairy.
Yes. It's like
That
he fucked
guy-
Chewbacca, I'm sorry.
That guy defeated Paul Stanley in hairiness.
That guy goes through 3 razors during his morning shave. He's hairy, is what I'm saying. Hairy.
That guy goes 3 razors at supper time.
Oh, here's a question. Did any of you ever see the original commercial for the Power Glove?
What you mean? You mean the wizard?
No, the wizard was the commercial for Super Mario 3.
And incidentally, Double Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Rad Racer, and the Power.
Dude, okay, the fucking Power Glove commercial, they make it look like it's the most amazing shit ever. It's it's the typical, we're just going to bullshit through our teeth and make it seem amazing. Like this dude's programming things and it's showing it from dramatic angles and everything. And he's throwing his arm and his fist around, doing shit with his fucking hands and everything. And there's this gigantic screen where all the action is going on. And I remember at the end, I think it's 1942, the top-down vertical shooter thing, that he's playing, and he just like does a Shoryuken into the air, and all this lightning comes clapping down, and I'm like, no wonder kids bought this shit. Oh my god, was that fucking awesome? And then you see it actually being used, and you're like, what a filthy piece of fucking shit. So
Well, yeah,
I like that one.
Well, and funny you bring that up because I was thinking about the other day remember the first time we never had a Power Glove. It didn't really, I didn't understand. Like it lost me in the advertising. I mean, don't get me wrong, lightning sounded like a great fucking idea at the time until I understood what flood insurance was and stuff like that. And but as an adult, I got to put one on. A friend of mine had one, and I put it. I'm like, this is horrible. If you've never had a Power Glove on, it's you feel like you're retarded. That's what I'm trying to say. So advertising lies.
Well, there is one advert I remember, and I remember this one quite well. When Mario 3 was being advertised, and I just remember seeing this one guy just stood in the middle of nowhere saying Mario, Mario, and then it'd do like an extreme zoom, and there was like a whole crowd of people. Then another
I
extreme
remember
zoom,
that.
and they
I
had
do
the
remember
Mario
that.
painted on the side of the planet. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty
I saw
cool.
that. That one's pretty cool. I like that actually.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Do you guys remember the Killer Instinct commercial for Super Nintendo?
No.
Vaguely.
I do remember the Donkey Kong Country ones. Those were pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
those were great.
Dude, the Killer Instinct one was pretty awesome just because it talked about the Killer Cut soundtrack, which is pretty badass, but it was pretty cool because, like, as all these, kids that are talking about the game, and they bleep out what they're saying, making it seem like they're actually swearing a whole bunch. And then, like, at the end, there's a kid getting his fucking mouth washed out with soap and everything, and, like, the mom flips out about it.
Yeah,
Dude,
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
you know what?
That literally made me want to buy the game. Like, the commercial alone, I was like, oh, this is something that's very naughty. All right, I have to have it.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
there was one
what's
good
your-
advert
what's-
recently though. There was one that I actually quite enjoyed actually, and that was
Marcus PSP?
no, fucking prick.
Step your game up!
I am stepping
No,
the game up.
stop that.
No.
Stop. No, don't say that.
Regard,
Stop.
regard.
How is it you don't remember the good commercials and all, and then you, damn you.
I'm trying to get my point across. I'm not getting any fucking chance. Anyway, no, there was one commercial recently. I'm talking like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was released. They had that Pro versus Noob, which was actually quite well edited, I thought. Although it did show every single Call of Duty cliche in the books, it was actually quite funny. I thought that was pretty good.
There
And
was
the
a
whole
pretty
room
good
got silent.
advertising. There was a good advertising campaign for Dead Space 2, I thought.
No, you're out of your mind that your mom doesn't like Dead Space 2 BS.
Dude, I
That
love
was
seeing.
horrendous.
Dude,
Oh.
here's the thing. I genuinely enjoy seeing people that just are like, wow, there are things like this. I can't believe that. Like, they live in such a confined bubble, and to see that bubble popped and all that bullshit just oozing in, it pleases me to a great deal, especially when they're like, oh my god, you're all terrible people. And I'm like, this is just a video game. And seeing them, like, do that, it was different from a basic commercial. Plus, it was online, too, which was odd.
Electronic fucking Arts has the worst advertising campaigns. The worst. I mean, they made me not want to play Dragon Age Origins. Like, I'm lucky I came into contact with the game outside of the fucking advertisements, because those advertisements were so fucking bad, I can't imagine why anyone would have wanted to play Dragon Age Origins. They had Marilyn Manson playing, they had ugly characters in their underwear grinding against each other. Like, no. Nobody wants to play that game. That sounds awful. But then you actually play it, and it's like, holy shit, this is nothing like that awful commercial. Why don't they fire their marketing division? Because people don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well,
Or their fucking Mass Effect 2 advertisements. I'm a tough guy, and I love to fight. Oh yeah, because that's what a friggin' sci-fi RPG is all about. Being a tough guy that loves to fight. Gotcha. It's not fucking MMA. This isn't UFC, shithead. Learn what the fuck you're advertising.
There's one commercial I can think of off the top of my head that I had much disdain for. And despite the fact that I like the game a lot, its commercial was a fucking horrendous train wreck just filled with AIDS, and it was fucking airborne. And that was the commercial for Super Mario Sunshine on GameCube. I wanted to punch a fucking baby in the mouth after watching it, because I was like...
In the mouth.
Because here's the thing, it wasn't done for irony's sake, and there was some people that like literally tried telling me that, and I was just like, I understand that you may want to lie to yourself, but no. The entire commercial is like, the only way I would have accepted it is if Captain Planet would have came down. And that's it. Because the entire commercial was a bunch of kids singing a song about trying to keep the world a clean and special place. And then it just shows Super Mario cleaning up the planet, and it's like, clean is better than dirty, and it's something stupid you'd expect on Sesame Street. And I was just like, I hate my life right now.
Now I have to throw this out there, guys. Speaking of
This
Nintendo
must have come around the
commercials.
same time as like Mario was missing, right?
Sounds
Oh no,
like
this
it.
was GameCube. Like,
Oh goodness gracious, horrible.
Well, there
Well,
is
you gotta
one.
throw-
There is
Oh,
one
go-
set of adverts that really do well, in my opinion. and that's the Grand Theft Auto adverts when they release them. They always tell the story just enough to get you interested. Red Dead Redemption, for example, was one of my favorites.
Shit, I like Vice Cities because it was using a fucking soundtrack for it.
Mm.
Oh yeah, and I ran.
Yeah.
I remember
Dude,
that. I remember that.
Razor Fist, what was the one that you had?
On the subject of Nintendo advertisements, I have to say I've never understood why. Okay, the Wii clearly was a massive success, largely as a function of all the press it got. You know, all the CNN. This is the biggest thing ever. The fucking Tickle Me Elmo press, and I think that's why it's sold, because it certainly wasn't the fucking advertisements where they were like, we would like to play, and all of a sudden you turn around and fucking Shigeru Miyamoto and Iwata-san are in your fucking living room. It's like, all right, two creepy Japanese gentlemen are bowing to me in the middle of my living room
in the middle of
no
a strange white room that looks a lot like, purgatory.
Yeah.
Driving around their Nintendo smart car.
I did not understand the success of those advertisements, because that was more than mildly creepy.
No, it was just like the Sega Saturn advertisements, just less makeup.
Kind of, yeah.
In a way.
There's another one I like, and unfortunately we didn't get here in the States, and I remember reading about it in one of the game magazines, but it was George Romero, who is famous for doing all the zombie movies and everything, and a hometown hero for me. But he had made a commercial specifically for Resident Evil 2, which has Leon Kennedy counting his bullets and running through like all these different zombies and looking outside and stuff. And then Claire comes in, then they face off against some zombies. But it was just very cool to see something like that, because it was George Romero and Resident Evil coming together, and it was quite the gasm. Quite the gasm.
The apostrophe gasm.
The gasm.
See, there's the Japanese, I have to say, hands down, have all the best video game commercials. Like, if you just get bored,
I think we
and they have more
like,
gasms than anybody else that you know.
fucking
yeah, over more illegal shit. But
I know. Hey,
the
the Japanese are genius. They're the only people who managed to make an industry out of selling, used underwear. And not only that, selling it on street corners out of vending machines.
Hey.
Okay, speaking of the Japanese, I think we would be remiss to not note arguably the most important advertising series. I said it before, I think it's almost 90% to blame or to thank for the game's success, but I think Final Fantasy VII's advertisements with the where they ran them in movie theaters and shit, and
yeah.
I honestly think that had a lot to do with the success of that game. I think it had a lot to do with how video game advertisement was approached from that point on, because you notice after about 97, when Final Fantasy VII did that super cinematic TV advertisement, you thought it was a fucking trailer for a Blade Runner sequel, and they were... After that, you noticed
Mononoke, actually.
After that, you noticed that like trailers got more and more elaborate year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you go back and look at a trailer, like even back in the year 2001, it's fucking quaint. You know what I mean? It's like a song and then a bunch of clips of the game, and that's it. But FF7 was like a full-on cinematic thing that made it look like a fucking movie. I hate the fucking game, but it's an important trailer on a lot of fucking levels.
Dude,
Absolutely.
the one advertisement for that I remember is in magazines, and it had the Junin canon, and it just said, "Will somebody get the guys that still make cartridge-based games blindfold and a cigarette?" And I was just like, "Wow!"
I remember that. What's funny is, like they had to use clips of cutscenes because nothing else from that game is going to look better than something on the N64. That was the funniest part about it.
Well, they could technically have gotten away with using in the battle system, but if they showed anything of you running around on like any of the maps whatsoever, they'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with that character? Why why is his forearm, wrist, and hand shaping the what's holding them together? Is that a straw? I don't understand what's going on. How are you formed? What's wrong with your mom?" It's just terrible.
But there is one thing that we have to point out about current advertisements.
What about him?
And the way they put the music to them, it's all the same fucking dubstep song.
Oh
Notice that?
God, yeah, it's
Uh,
everywhere.
You know what?
Death.
It sounds like a blowfish with diarrhea. Wop, wop,
I
wop.
mean, to me, from what I can understand, dubstep is a precise, the end of an equation when you put the internet up against techno music.
That's all it
Yeah,
is. It's basically electronic music done wrong.
Hey,
Yeah.
kids, do you like techno music but hate all that pesky talent? Then you
You
are
know
gonna fucking love dubstep.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's great. It's techno music without a song.
It just sounds like the soundtrack to a car dying. To me, is what
It sounds like
basically.
actually it sounds like it sounds like a reggae musician's approach at techno.
Yeah, you
but
can't
a
get your
white
car
game
to
is-
start, and then they throw some 8-bit, 16-bit sound effects in there to remind you that the Nintendo Entertainment System existed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
they're
good
cool for
times.
remembering. We all know because we know they're cool.
No, why can't they put some more metal songs into fucking advertising?
Because then they're gonna make them gay. The energy drinks already bought heavy metal a couple summers ago. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, I know. It's depressing.
See, the video games have dubstep. Heavy metal is owned by Rockstar and Monster, for now, until they get sold to fucking Starbucks. I'm sure that's coming next. Anyway, there's one advertisement that I really need to discuss. It's very brief. Speaking of the Power Glove, who remembers from a few years ago? I'll tell you why I'm thinking of this. I've been watching WCW programming here on YouTube, and I know what you're thinking. Terrible idea, and yes, it is. But there was advertisements. Somebody left the advertisements in one of these things from WCW Saturday Night from way back when for a product called the Aura Interactor. Does anybody remember this device?
oh God,
Nope.
not the
This
Sega dude.
backpack, it looked like a proton pack, and you hooked it into with the online the audio, and apparently it made the gaming experience more intense than you could ever experience. All this fucking bullshit fluff and kids' hair blown in the wind. It looked like the goddamn Maxell commercial.
It was
And-
a full body fucking rumble pack, is what it was.
Actually, it was just a big speaker, and it made it like, oh, this is an intense experience. Like it rattles your asshole. That's all it does.
Hey, there's a place down on Hollywood Boulevard. You pay double for that. That's all I'm
I was
saying.
know.
gonna say, in prison does that for free.
I know.
Exactly. So your choices are go to prison or look on eBay for an Aura Interactor.
Or pay double at some club. Yeah.
But anyway, and there's one that now I want you guys to tell me. We're going to go way back in the annals of history, and we're going to talk about the Philips CDI. You remember the Philips CDI?
No.
No.
You don't?
I try
Nobody-
not to.
Philips CDI, yeah, it's bad for your brain. But I remember when I was a kid and watching Sunday afternoon TV, and you are a sad sack of shit watching Sunday afternoon TV. You are 12 years old and watching Airwolf and Renegade. You are a sad person. And
Hey,
as-
whoa,
Oh, here we
Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys. Man, there were good shows on Sunday, actually. Like even a few years back, the new Ninja Turtles show that's actually pretty fucking good was
Okay,
on
we didn't
Sunday.
have this where we were. We had like Xena and shit.
Oh, that's true. In the afternoon, it was all fucking She Spies and fucking Hercules.
Yeah, but see, I got the
VIP with Pamela Anderson. Oh yeah.
Shut up! I kill you! Stop it! You're hurting the brain. Anyway,
Moving on.
one day on Sunday, I'll tell the story quickly. One day on Sunday, a program-length advertisement came on. You know what those are, where they essentially lie to you for an hour and try and brainwash you into thinking your home cannot be without this program. This is how Apple also pushed the PowerPC format. Anyway, none of you are old enough to remember any of this, but there was a program-length advertisement for the Philips CDI. Look it up on Google or ask somebody. It's embarrassing. And I was just flabbergasted that they really needed to lie to you for an entire hour just to sell a video game console. It was quite impressive.
It's kind of like watching
I thought that was called that was called the Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo press conferences at E3.
Yes, but it didn't have because this was the good old-fashioned program-length advertisements like the ones Chuck Norris does today. Where they, it's like somehow like your life begins with this product. They actually suggested that the Philips CDI, and if you think I'm wrong, type it in on YouTube after the podcast. After the podcast, you type in Philips CDI infomercial, and you'll see a commercial for the Philips CDI that actually suggests that the Philips CDI bestows you with the meaning of life.
Oh my god.
The meaning of life itself comes out of the Philips CDI. So run down the store, get yourself Philips CDI. We've talked about this for long enough. It's time to go into this week's mailbag. This time we're calling it the Hate Bit Cunt Bag, because in my personal experience, not enough people say cunt bag on the internet.
Well, clearly not enough people watch Rachel Maddow. Continue.
Hey, what goes on at home is considered private time, man. But, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go into the cunt bag right now and fish out some cunts. And if you've got a question, a comment, a query, there's too much going on there, for the Hate Bit Podcast, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Facebook, and there's a link down in the section provided. And you can also drop us a line right here at YouTube, at our YouTube inbox. Our first piece of mail comes to us via Facebook, I beg your pardon, from Victor Maleson. And Victor says, "Hello, dear knights of the Hatepocalypse, EA doomers and Capcom rapists."
Hello.
Hi. I'm not sure if that was...
I have never been called a Capcom rapist before.
No, this feels kind of like a personal attack, but hey, we'll forge ahead, because that's what we do. He says, "I constantly follow the news concerning the video game developing area from various websites." That must not take very long. He says forums and stuff, and one topic is troubling my mind. And there are hundreds, he says in quotes, of people. He says, which is about the sexism, quote, in games. Some say that games are made... Well, let me get to the bottom of this. Some say that games are made with misogynist concepts of game developers, mainly constituted by males. The most recent episode of this pussy soap opera was about the girlfriend mode on the new Borderlands, a skill tree for the pre-order only DLC bonus character, which many said that the inclusion of this mode and the speech of the developer, I guess it was Randy Pitchford or some other guy about it on an interview, was sexist. What are your opinions on this subject? He goes on to say, "My opinion about this is these pussies, in both meanings, should shut the fuck up. If they don't like it, then grow some balls and make their own games. People shouldn't be punished to have less fun or entertainment just for the fact that they are not having fun. If they want a game with hours of speech that put the female genitals on pedestals, fine by me, but game developers aren't obliged," that's what he says, "to make games that will please everyone. That is why the concept of the niche market exists in the first place. Thanks for the attention, and thanks you guys for the show. You rock on various different levels." Well, we already knew that, Victor, and we thank you for your letter. Sexism in gaming, is this really a problem?
No. Next question.
Thanks.
I'm uninitiated here. What the fuck is this controversy? Because if it's not like it's called raping a bitch mode. It's called girlfriend mode. There's nothing offensive about having a girlfriend.
Well, shows how much you know.
That's true.
I really had something to say before the podcast, but now why did I read this letter? I mean, Victor, we thank you for your input and everything, but I have nothing to say. I mean,
that's fucking...
fuck
That's
everyone.
a first.
Who cares?
Oh, he should have a certificate for shutting your chaos up for more than 30 seconds.
There you go. I mean, it's... Hey, wait a minute. I was quiet for a minute earlier. Okay. Well, anyway, Victor, we thank you for your input, and realistically, loosen up, man. Play a different game. Have fun. That's all I got to say. Anyway. Here's one that I really have to talk about. This is a big one. Comes to us at gmail.com from Ghost Frost. And Ghost Frost says, "Hey, guys, this podcast is great. Thank you."
Yay.
He said, "My question is about the newest upcoming installment of the GTA series." I think he means Grand Theft Auto. He says, GTA 5. "From the information that was given about the game, we know this game will be set in San Andreas, but it will be, quote, reinvented, similar to how Liberty City was, quote, reinvented. So it will most likely have no ties to the events and characters in GTA San Andreas, which pisses me off a whole lot. Rockstar Games started this bullshit with GTA 4. Just because you have a new graphics engine doesn't mean you have to, quote, reinvent the entire..." He quotes himself quite frequently. "Reinvent the entire fucking GTA universe. Claude Speed from GTA 3, Tommy Vercetti from Vice City, CJ, and Sweet from San Andreas. All these memorable characters shoved to the side just because Rockstar Games wants to, quote, reinvent something that didn't need, quote, reinventing.
How many quotes have you got in there?
He's got a bunch in there.
Hey, how is GTA 4 reinvented? I mean, maybe they reinvented new varieties of being fucking tiresome and melodramatic. Because the series went from being like you're running around in Vice City in an ice cream truck with big titties on top to fucking running around in GTA 4 talking about how your girl was just killed at a fucking, was it a funeral or something she was shot at? I can't even remember.
You're kind of spoiling the last mission of the game.
Oh no, I'm spoiling a 5-year-old game. Shit, what an asshole. I don't fucking care. It's an old game.
Yeah.
But
I'm just sitting here and pretend the story actually fucking matters.
I've just had it up to 7 feet above my fucking head with the industry just gradually turning into this glacial solemnity dispenser. They took this series that was all about fun and fucking ridiculousness and turned it into fucking grim dark tedium.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And it didn't need reinventing. And I suspect that if they're reinventing it yet again, it's going to be reinvented in that direction. It's just going to be even more needlessly serious. Like, I've been playing Sleeping Dogs like the last week. It's like everything GTA is trying to be. It takes itself seriously from the outset, though, so you don't feel like pangs of, oh god, why am I taking this seriously? You know what I mean? And GTA 4 also makes it really hard because everybody's running around with these big, like, oversized noses. Like, the character designers forgot that the fucking game is as serious as it is. Everybody's running around looking like a fucking lawn gnome, in other words. And it doesn't fucking work for me. But,
Well, I actually have a contrarian point of view here. There's this air right now of kids, anybody who plays games, bitching and complaining that games are not like previous iterations. These are the same people, or maybe even, converse people, that bitch and complain when things remain exactly the same. Fans of the GTA series, you're going to have to get over this. I'm sorry, I know it sucks, but, sequel after sequel, you're lucky with what you got. Not so many series were so lucky to have continuing on with sequels. Look at movies. They fucked up Ghostbusters on the second try.
yeah.
So, you had a good run, and I'm really sorry, but, you're getting your blood pressure up over nothing. You really are. I mean, this is the way things are.
Yeah, well,
Can't remain the same forever.
but think of it this way. Yeah, GTA fucking 4. Even though it was a bit too serious in places, it did still have some funny features in there. There were some daft missions. It did have the odd daft references to previous games and stuff like that. But it was subtle. I mean, very subtle.
Yeah.
So
overall, I just felt like it was too realistic, I guess.
Yeah.
In the earlier games, you could run around in a tank and shit.
Yeah.
In GTA 4, they had to patch in the tanks with the DLC and the fucking,
Well,
you
anytime
couldn't.
you hit a curb, you fucking go through the fucking windshield.
Yeah, your fucking car is made out of tissue paper.
and
Yeah.
it handles just as so.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
I mean,
It's-
I guess if I could sum it up, the earlier offerings basically they just glorified mayhem. They flagrantly glorified mayhem, and then they had just a light peppering of social commentary, But more recently, it's like ham-fisted socio-political fucking pontificating is all it is. It's weapons-grade boredom, and I really wish it would get back to where it fucking was.
Who
Yeah.
loves driving around just listening to the music just for shits?
That's a great time. It's
That-
even better.
I loved it a lot more in the earlier games. GTA 4's
Yeah.
soundtrack is not so good. I gotta
No.
be
It's
honest.
very contemporary, and it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe because for some reason it seems like, especially Grand Theft Auto has had some sort of an effect with its nostalgia, has some sort of an effect on games of that type.
Yeah.
And I would say that, I think that game had a definite hand in kind of propelling the popularity of 80s New Wave.
Yeah.
Oh, and 80s metal came
Because
back.
because that music is now somewhat kind of prominent amongst
Yeah,
pop.
I mean, you definitely had that. It was again. Did anybody else play San Andreas? And
Yes.
and the game is what, set in 1994, 1996.
No, it's set in 1992.
Yeah.
Was it 92?
So 1992, and I'm turning on the radio and I'm hearing "Accept Balls to the Wall." It's like, did anybody else live through 1992? Does nobody remember how fucking uncool metal was in the early 90s? Like, I wish there were that much heavy metal on the radio in 1992, but Rockstar is
fair-
live through.
Well, to be fair, San Andreas is supposed to be Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles we had KNAC, the only heavy metal station left on the country back in 1992.
There
so
you go.
It was entirely possible. I'm telling you this from a regional perspective.
Yeah, but I don't mean just in terms of metal. I mean like a solid 60 to 70% of that overall soundtrack is 80s music. And it's like, I wish there were that much 80s music on the radio, but there was not. Not in 92. There was a bunch of shit on the radio in 1992.
But anyway, let's try and keep it on to the GTA-esque fucking.
Okay,
Train
fuck
of thought.
1992. How about that?
Oh, well, fuck 1992. All right then. Well, let's close this with this. Favorite Grand Theft Auto soundtrack, and we're going to throw it straight at Alpha first. Go on.
Oh, Vice City, hands down.
Vice City, Razor,
Strangely enough, San Andreas. It had
Chaos,
better songs, better metal, actually.
Chaos,
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Grand Theft Auto 3. So I've got the deciding vote here. Actually, I'm going to go with Liberty City Stories on the PSP.
Huh?
The-
What songs were on there?
You and the 5 people that played it.
Yeah, so yeah. Do you have your card to show that you were one of those people?
I've got it twice. I've got it once on PSP and got it on PS2.
I thought they tattooed the inside of your forearm when that happened.
Mm,
No, they tattooed the outside of his forearms.
Holocaust reference. Sorry, guys.
oh god.
Uh,
Moving on.
There's one more
You
thing I wanted to.
You could have used the inverse
Minute,
triangle.
One minute. Alpha wants to say something.
There's
What's
just
that?
one thing I actually want to add to the whole thing of talk about Grand Theft Auto 4, and that's nobody can complain about Grand Theft Auto 4 or even upcoming Grand Theft Auto 5. You want to know why? Because Saints Row 2 and 3 are doing everything that you want those games to be doing already, so give them your
Exactly.
deserving money.
Except the soundtrack. Saints Row the Third has one of the worst soundtracks in a video.
I'm not talking about music. I will definitely agree the music. Well, to be fair, I always bitch about the music no matter what because I
Well, then,
always
yeah,
want
just
more.
turn your iPod on shuffle. You'll be fine.
Exactly. But,
Custom soundtracks on Xbox 360.
I literally mute the radio
The
all the
only
time.
good thing that Xbox
But-
360 has.
I mean, literally, the gameplay, the story. The story doesn't take itself seriously. When it does, it's actually kind of interesting and decent. And the gameplay is out of control, awesome, fun stuff that you will get lost in for hours. And I don't say that because, I'm like, oh my god, I hate GTA so much. It's literally, I lost myself in Saints Row 2 and 3 like I did in San Andreas, Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto 3. So it's literally like the continuation of those,
Yeah, definitely,
officially.
absolutely.
Absolutely. And continue.
So, yeah.
That's-
So if we
That's what
miss
I want.
GTA, maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't.
Maybe they'll.
All I know is they are definitely going to have to step their game. If they want to do the serious thing, they got to do it a lot better than Sleeping Dogs because Sleeping Dogs is really fucking good. And right now, Sleeping Dogs is a much better game than GTA 4, in my opinion.
GTA 4 is a 5-year-old game, as you put it.
It's true.
Right.
But
compare
Sleeping Dogs,
compare it to a game that's a bit younger. Because don't forget that
well,
game's
that's the
for
problem.
like I said,
Rockstar never pulls their thumb out of their ass, but for every 4 years or so. So
No.
it's hard to really compare.
I'm still waiting for Red Dead Redemption 2.
I know, right?
How's that going?
Just like Codemasters and Grid 2.
Oh.
Not very well.
I'll say that sounds like, are you having a hunger strike in front of the McDonald's? Is that what that is?
No, with Grid 2, apparently they're taking out bloody cockpit view, which is the view I used for playing racing games. So they're kind
Well,
of
I'd say it's
fucking me
bullshit.
over. Yeah, it is bullshit.
Anyway, we got one more question before we're going to jump into the show. This message, now we have to answer these questions. I'm so sorry, but Lorne Darkin has been busting my balls for a solid month to talk about this. And I said, I don't want to talk about it because Razorfist doesn't like death metal. But I'm going to read this question anyway, just to get it out of the way. So Lorne Darkin, here you go. He says, hello, fellow metalheads. Love the show, and thanks for doing it. I remember one of your podcasts a while back, you got a question about black metal bands, and you all mentioned who you all liked. Thanks for suggesting those bands. But my question is, what death metal bands do you all listen to? Thanks in advance, and keep on rocking. Now, Razorfist, you don't have to participate because you don't like death metal. Alpha Omega Sin, what kind of death metal do you like?
Genre or bands?
Just bands. Name a few bands. Give me 3.
I don't know. I'll go with basic, I guess.
Damn
Cannibal
you.
Corpse, Deicide. I don't know. Torture Killer, Morbid Angel, a bunch of other random bands. Decapitated. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Earlier Death. I don't know. Just go with those.
That'll do. Saint Magnus, do you like death metal, and which death metal do you like?
The only one I've heard of is Deicide.
Well, that's good enough for me. I say,
I
like that.
I'm just gonna play safe Deicide. Fuck it.
Oh, there you go. That's fair enough.
I'm not in a particularly metal mood at the moment to start.
There's
rigging
nothing wrong
any
with that. We're
stuff.
not going to mention your
Are you more into the wub 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 bow bow?
No, I'd much rather cut my own cock off than listen to that now.
Whoa. Be careful what you wish.
Well, let's put it this way. It was cool when it started. Now it's just irritating.
Are we talking about dubstep or death metal?
Dubstep. Death metal's pretty much the same anyway.
I was gonna say I can keep adding more if everybody likes.
Yeah, go on. I'd 3 or 4.
He loves Exhumed, and he loves...
Okay. Yeah,
they're
Exhumed.
grindcore band.
I just saw Exhumed recently. Very good.
That's what you said, yes.
What, really? Were they picking up trash at your school, or?
Hey. Well, okay. Here, how about this? Bloodbath, Hate Eternal, Mortician, Cataclysm.
With a C and with a K.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Carcass with a C and with a K.
Hey, that's not really death metal.
What?
That's more like grindcore.
Well, that's Swedish death metal. They get to call whatever the fuck they want death metal because, frankly, they're Swedish and blonde.
And awesome.
And they're all tall, good-looking, and make fantastic...
By that logic, ABBA should be able to fucking label absolutely any form of
I'm
metal
relatively certain they do. I'm relatively certain they do. In fact, they labeled themselves as Success for years.
It's true.
See? So, the Swedish, they can do a lot of things. They make sobs,
How about this? We'll go into the direction of Egyptian death metal and go with Nile. Aha.
No.
Even though they come from North Carolina.
But they're still really awesome stuff.
Yeah, likely story. Anyway, that's how we feel about death metal. We thank you for your questions. If you have any questions, comments, concerns of any kind, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, also at facebook.com and at youtube.com, where you should be watching this, because if you're not, that means you're clairvoyant and get the fuck out of my head. Anyway, we got to get on with the show.
I was going to say any more .coms then, but...
I know, I used those for all the .coms ever.
Somebody set up a hatebit.twitter.com. We got that.
Shh.
Why
would we Twitter?
Update it. I don't know. Everyone else has got fucking Twitter.
Razorfist loves Twitter, by the way.
Sure he does.
He likes.
Are you the Rageaholic on Twitter?
No.
Okay, because I don't follow you on Twitter.
No, he keeps posting a load of shit like, "Oh, I'm going to the shop to buy eyeliner. Oh, I'm out to the salon. Oh, I'm having my fitting for new jeans." Ooh.
Just for me, I follow Razorfist on Facebook, but unfortunately, anytime he posts something, it's just, "God damn it, I hate Facebook."
It's usually, "God damn it, I hate fucking Reggie Fils-Aimé. Oh, God damn it, I hate fucking another fat cunt that likes to review things." Yeah, that's all I ever read.
There you go. Anyway, we got to talk about this. This is big news, and, well, it's sort of news. Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power, a stronghold publication, a flagship periodical in the video game industry and community for many years, is
In the
supposedly
US, in the US, I'd like to point out,
in the U.S. That's true, but don't forget we made this industry what it is.
we have ONM.
You do, yeah, which is doing just fine. But apparently, publisher Future Publishing, who also, as far as I know, publishes ONM and Nintendo Gamer, have lost, or the contract is going to expire between them and Nintendo for the license to make Nintendo Power. Now, all the closing message is essentially that's all it is. The contract is expiring, so someone could pick up the contract if they're willing to deal with Nintendo. And Future Publishing kind of made it seem like Nintendo was just fucking impossible to deal with. And, well, there's a reason for that. They don't want to be mentioned in the same breath as Atari. Because that, you're not on top of your shit. But, I was reading through, bits and pieces of what was said. And there was many a mention to Nintendo being difficult to deal with, having to do with, and they totally glossed over the idea that I've known this for a while. Future Publishing has been trying to move some of their magazines, in fact, a magazine I was subscribed to for many years, Guitar Player Magazine, trying to move a lot of the content online and have you pay for that extra content online. Now, this is coming from Future Publishing Incorporated, a major publisher, people who put things on paper and make things available to the general public. This is the year 2012. The internet has been around for a long time, and these people somehow have not figured out that nobody reads digital or pays to read a digital magazine. How they didn't figure that out, I have no idea. But does anybody else have thoughts on this, what has transpired?
I haven't read Nintendo Power since the Nintendo 64 days. So
and that was a sad time to read Nintendo Power.
Hey, I got a few pretty good issues that I got the Star Fox 64 issue and the Ocarina of I think I still have the Ocarina of Time issue up there somewhere with the Fancy Pants poster. But I liked it, but I mean, let's be real here. It was Nintendo propaganda, and it had about as much literatory. Did I just use the word literatory?
Yes.
It had about as much genuine value as fucking PSM or any of these other fucking propaganda mill,
oh, yeah.
one-party
I'm not
companies.
arguing that at all.
Mm.
I understand.
OXM or whatever.
OXM blows anyway.
Well,
But to be quite fair, most fucking first-party bloody magazines always blow because they're always slagging off the competition. They never actually give a proper unbiased review. They always fucking sugarcoat everything, and then they just try and sell you the same shit that every other magazine's already told you for £6 to £7 a time. It's fucking stupid.
Well, I will say this: Nintendo Power, being is not published first party by Nintendo, they seemed fairly even-handed to me. But I did notice that over the years that magazine has gotten thinner and thinner. But you cannot shrug off. The magazine has, at this point, close to 500,000 subscribers. Even in, a poorly run, publishing industry, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, but, most companies now just want the money, so they don't give a shit how many subscribers.
I know.
Yep.
It's amazing. I just,
Yeah, but the thing is, 500,000 subscribers means that they're bringing in a ton of money. There's just a lot of irony behind I understand that they want to move away from physical magazines and try to do everything much cheaper, much faster, much easier. But 500,000 people, it's just kind of a head scratcher and real sudden. Okay, you're doing this nosedive now. Why? Are you just real concerned they're all going to leave tomorrow? Or I don't really get it. But in general, and I already said my piece about this in a fucking video. I talked to Yellow Chaos about it, but if they are going to go digital, which I truly hope, fingers crossed and all other good shit, I say make it online for ebooks, for fucking tablets and all that shit, but also make it something like a separate app on the Wii U and on the 3DS where you can download these. You can read some of the issues in 3D on the 3DS, and it's a fucking tablet controller, for fuck's sake. I mean, put two and two together, people could do stuff like that. It's just, I think it could be neat.
Read the back issues, digitally. If we can't have it physically, why not?
Dude, if they put up a back catalog, holy shit, that would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, yeah, but there is one massive flaw in all of their plans.
You mean the potential for abuse?
Not just that. that if they're just going to go digital only with every single written word, what happens if we do have some massive catastrophe and all that data gets lost? That's a lot of...
Well, I imagine that was someone that'd be stored on your system.
Yeah, but not just that. Say if the whole world had a big massive EMP pulse and everything, all the servers got fried and everything, all digital information was disappeared. We're fucked. We're not going to be able to pass on the knowledge of what we knew now to the future generations because we're fucking fried, isn't it?
I think you're missing the spec. You should probably think more back to the Dark Ages, the burning of books and sacred parchment for that.
Yeah, but
the
Nazis did a good enough job with that. But what I'm talking about is that they're destroying the written word, right? Any book lover will agree with me on this. Anybody that reads a comic book, anybody that reads a fucking paperback book, even everybody that reads a fucking porn mag will understand that the fact that when you lose the printed word, you kind of like, it doesn't have any feeling. So any fucking, you're reading a game magazine and it's a physical magazine that you can read and, and it's got that certain magic to it. You're reading something off a computer screen, it's got no soul, it's got no passion, it's just...
Well, to say nothing of the fact that we still don't know what the long-term effect of sitting in front of a fucking computer monitor reading shit on a regular basis actually has on the human eyeball.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the simple reason why I hate to read stuff online. I don't like reading comics online because it takes you a little while to read a comic online. I'm a quick reader, but it still takes you a while, and I don't like looking. Reading is different. When you're just looking at pictures or watching a video online, it's different. But when you're actually reading something, you're generally closer to the monitor, and you've got a headache then within like 20 to 30 minutes. And it's no fun.
Well, it's because your eyeball is analog and you're reading something that's digital and you're trying to take it in all in, because it's not really a picture. It's, a representation. It's pixels.
And if it sounds like we're being old and contrarian... And
we are. we just are.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you and get off my porch, kid.
That's why I like Big Red. If you don't like Big Red, fuck you. Anyway, I see where everybody's coming from.
I would prefer it to stay physical, but the only reason I brought up all of my options, not say I wanted to go all digital, but if they're going to end it, I would at least like it to somehow live on realistically.
Yeah,
so
it's got the virtual console. Why couldn't this work?
Oh, exactly. And I mean, beyond that, they got Club Nintendo. Why can't they just make like a limited amount of physical issues that you can go and redeem, like, I don't know, 300 fucking points and then get the issue mailed to you?
That's
one of the biggest reasons. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's just one more thing for them to work on.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons to have Nintendo Power is the fucking posters. You can't get a poster digitally. I mean, come on.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that you can have a wallpaper or a screensaver. Herkader! Yeah, newfangled. I was fielding some comments on our Facebook page, and someone said, brought it to my attention that that's old news, I understand that. Nintendo Power stopped being cutting edge industry news a long time ago, but. Nintendo is more than just, industry. For so many people, like myself, I'll be completely honest with you, it's a hobby. It's, something you follow to pass the time. And, Nintendo Power is like a snapshot in time.
Any of these old magazines are, man. I had a subscription to PC Gaming Magazine, or PC Gamer Magazine, from like 95 to 99. And that's a long time to have a subscription to a magazine. And I've still got stacks and stacks and stacks of issues filled with these amazing games. And it's just great to go back there, go back and look in the back room at just all these amazing fucking... It's a total fucking time warp is what it is. And that's essentially... Yeah, and that's half the value of Nintendo Power.
Absolutely. I mean, but the best part, really, and for me, I'll tell you this, gang, that for me, this is what's great, is to go through those old issues and read articles about games that just plain never fucking happened.
Yeah, that's actually something that I've done.
Nowadays, we hear about that sort of thing and say, oh, well, that's why it was canceled. Whereas back then, they're fucking kids. What do they care? Nope, make the game. Fuck it.
Yep.
And it's just, you could kind of draw your own lines, what happened there, and it's just really neat. It's, it's a way, not so much that it proposes a future that we experience, but in many ways, and the printed word has always done this, proposed worlds that we will never experience. I know that's kind of a grandization, I made it seem a lot bigger than it was, but, it's, for me, Nintendo Power was always a snapshot in time, and just to look at, you think things suck now, well, it was better back then.
Yep.
That's not good, actually. That's really depressing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So R.I.P.
Anyway,
Nintendo
but-
Power, maybe.
But yeah, Nintendo Power, the contract is expired. I just like to say that this is bullshit, but, I understand. We kind of talked ourselves into this thing kind of being okay. Oh, well. So we're going to have to move on. I need Razor Fist. I need your help. I need your ring and all your power because, Peter Moore said some stupid shit. Peter Moore from...
He's another fucking. He's a stupid Englishman. I'll go.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. And Razor Fist, it was you that posted that on our Facebook about cognitive dissonance and what have you. What did Peter Moore say?
Good old Peter Moore. Well, essentially, he was saying that basically he categorized his own audience for Electronic Arts. He said this repeatedly. He was like, I read absolutely every bit of criticism on the internet, which is utter egocentric nonsense. Because, come on, guys, we have a relatively meager podcast, and even we can't read every bit of criticism of just that one thing. You know what I mean? We don't have the time.
Major entertainment corporation.
Yeah, and we're not this massive multinational media conglomerate like Electronic Arts, but, furthering our perception of Peter Moore's utter cognitive dissonance. He basically said you can tell, based on the commentary, how old the gamers are, and essentially suggested on multiple occasions during the course of this interview that the gamers that criticize him are going to be left in the dust, essentially. That they are part of they're focusing on the younger demographic, and the older gamers are going to go away. No, I'm fine with that contention, quite frankly. But honestly, most of my audience is between the age of... I've actually looked on YouTube. It actually gives you a summary. Most of my audience is between the ages of 16 and 24, something like that. It's a relatively young audience, and I think he's wrong if he thinks that the criticism is only coming from these old fogies in their early 30s or late 20s. I think he's vastly overlooking the problem. He does not understand at all what is going on here and how his company has engendered so much hatred for the back-to-back fucking abortions of Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age 2 and Star Wars The Old Republic, and why his company's share price has plummeted by over, $10 in the last year, and it's currently hovering just barely above the limit to remain listed at $11.
Well... Yeah, well, I mean, Razor Fist, help me out here. Would you say, in your expert opinion, that it is safe to contend that maybe, just maybe, all this bunch of old guys, us old fucks, bitching and complaining on the internet is having some sort of an effect?
Oh, absolutely. I think.
I think this is totally misunderstanding and underestimating the power of the internet.
Did you just use a Bush-ism, misunderestimating?
I almost did, but then I remembered, oh, wait a minute. I'm not a Republican.
Oh, God.
Nuclear. Anyway, but I think it's safe to say that...
A few exact quotes, a few little select quotes. I'll just cherry pick here from the article. Sometimes I feel sorry for gamers whose world was cartridges. I sense on the boards there is a pining for the old times. Man, we're not even pining for the old times. We're pining for 2007. We're pining, I would be perfectly fine if the gaming industry went back to the way it was in the early part of 2008. But ever since about 2008, these companies have lost their stomach for creation and the generation of new IPs. And it's to the point where even a banal new IP is at least it's a new IP. I think this guy completely misunderstands the problem. He just does not. It does not click.
Well, he's obviously in step with what his industry has become. This industry went from being just an industry that just printed money left and right. Game here, game there, and a career as a designer was just huge, and you could do anything. And this industry has gone from just making a shit ton of product to somehow professionally spitting in their audience's face. I don't know how that works. I really wish I could really be paid to tell people to fuck off, and yet they still buy my product.
He says the world is changing, gaming is changing, and the majority of gamers want the world to change to keep up. He is sequestering us from the rest of gamers. He's pitting gamers against themselves rather than confronting the mistakes that his own company has made. He is pitting gamers against themselves, saying, "Well, we're marketing to this younger demographic." The problem is, okay, let's just throw this out there as a pure hypothetical. Let's say they were going for the younger demographic with a game like Dragon Age 2. Why'd the game sell fewer copies than Dragon Age Origins then? If there are so many younger gamers that are so interested in what his company is promulgating, then why exactly did that game sell like bottled farts? I mean, it does not make sense. His logic isn't proven through. Period.
I think it's funny that he's talking about us pining for the cartridge days. Meanwhile, let's see, we've been... compare the amount of just overall disgust of last generation, or even the beginning of this generation even, compared to right now. Just right now, as in today. Just this very fucking second. And it's just like, that's night and day, motherfucker. If you're saying we're pining for the days of cartridge-based games. No, I was pretty fucking happy playing my PS1 with CDs, and I was pretty fucking happy playing things on my PS2 and my Xbox and my GameCube. And I was pretty happy whenever this generation started, and then just took a sudden leap off of a fucking cliff. And
it's a slow build. Like I said, it was around 2008. It's just been building year upon year upon year. At the beginning, people weren't convinced it was genuinely degrading in quality. I got a lot of hate when I first started my show because I was a little bit doom and gloom on the industry, saying it's not getting any better, guys. And then as it's gone through, God, 3 years later, people like me, people like Athel Megasin, all of us are ultimately being proven correct on this. I loved the beginning of the generation. Let's just say that definitively. I loved games like Mass Effect. I loved games like BioShock. I loved Ace Combat 6. There were a lot of games I loved in 2007, 2006. I loved Dead Rising.
You see that? You see how powerful this has been? This console generation forged the man Razor Fist.
It did.
It beat you until you were apprehensive toward it and then aggressive toward it, and now you go for the throat every single Sunday.
Turn me into the slavering man-beast that I am today.
Yeah, another Batman reference. You would say that, they made you, you made them, it works out that way.
But just looking at the company that this fucking Peter Moore works for, whatever he fucking wants to call himself.
He's the Chief Operations Officer.
At EA. At EA.
Mm-hmm.
What EA's been supposedly put up for sale, that he's just hammering more nails into the fucking coffin himself. He's actually put the lid on and he's got his arm poking out through the gap, hammering all the fucking nails in while he's at it. This console generation is an embarrassment, right? Every little thing that these companies say is ingenious, innovative, and all that sort of fucking absolute garbage of fucking lies.
Dribble.
It's just dribble. Yeah, there you go. It's just basic dribble. Take Battlefield 3, for example. They built the game from the ground up as a multiplayer game only. It wasn't until the whinings of these games saying, we want a single player, that they put a half-hour single player just to make people happy. They didn't actually work hard on, delay the game for 6 or 7 months longer. Give us a fucking better game with a better, better campaign mode. And have the multiplayer on par with that. That would have been good. And then what did they do at EA, at E3 this year? They they announced that they're giving us a premium service for a game that's been out for 6 fucking months.
Yep.
EA, look at yourself. Take a long, hard look in the fucking mirror. You know, just swirl your face with water just to make sure you're alive and make sure you're awake, because you had such a good run in the 90s. In the early 2000s, you started wavering. Then, as soon as you got to the 2007, 2008, you went right down the fucking crapshoot with yearly releases that nobody really cares about. Coming up with new IPs and then closing the studios straight after the fucking title's been made. What the hell is going on, EA? And it's not just that company. There is other companies out there. There's Capcom's done the same fucking job. Square Enix did it for a while. Fucking Konami started doing it. Activision is the biggest fucking horror of the lot.
Yeah.
It's not just one company. It's all of them. They're all doing the same fucking tactics. And they're wondering why we're pining for cartridge-based day, the cartridge-based media days. Well, let's just say they made games. They made games that still stand and still hold to this fucking day. Name 3 games from this generation that you can honestly say would hold up, 10, 15, or 25 years down the line?
I don't know. Apparently anything on the Virtual Console.
I'm sure you could list some, but they'd all be from 2005 to 2007.
Exactly.
They would.
Exactly.
Because after that, it all headed downhill, with a few notable exceptions. But there's always an exception that proves the rule. The thing that irritates me the most about this interview is that he's essentially stating that DLC is an inevitability, when we really know what this is being motivated by, because we have John Riccitiello, the head of EA, the CEO of EA, saying basically on camera, there's an audio file of it, you can see it on YouTube, look it up, John Riccitiello saying that the reason they're pushing DLC so hard is that, and the reason they're pushing premium mode so hard, is that when you're actually playing a game, it's harder for you to say no to buying something. They just want your money. It's as simple as that. It's a cash grab. It has nothing to do with the inevitability of the future or evolution or innovation. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that once the controller is in your hands, you are not as protective of your pocketbook, period.
Yeah. There's no reason your game controller should ever have a relationship with your debit card.
Yeah, and I can completely relate to that. I mean, I had a girlfriend who was really into Halo 3. I hate Halo, but I remember I must have bought like 3 or 4 map packs for that just because she wanted to play them. You know what I mean?
Bitch.
I know, right? But once the controller's in your hands, it's so much harder to say no.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's an interesting thing, because, it seems the game companies want it both ways, but if you look at it right, they have it both ways. Because there was a time where you had to get off your ass and go into a store and let these, every company go toe-to-toe and say, hey, buy this game, not that one. Look what I got for you. Huh? We got violence, we got, and they had to do that. And now they're in your fucking living room, and you are, you're defenseless against this shit, because for some reason, people don't give a shit about anything when their pants are undone or they're on their sofa. Or pants are undone on the sofa. That's... you could throw away your entire life and mortgage on that.
Yeah, and Xbox Live are making sure of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And any old, that's the thing. Any bit of propaganda begins with language, and by turning it into a situation where the people who are against this are regressive and the people who are for it are progressive, it makes it seem like their argument has more merit than it really does. It's not an inevitability. It's not evolution. It has nothing to do with innovation. It is plain and simple. They want more of your money, and they want it quicker because they're not making as much. And the reason why they're not making as much, full stop, is that they're making bad games, increasingly shittier games at the very least.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's much like, the discussion we had many weeks ago about the Snickers bar, and how it seems like it's getting smaller and they're just chipping away little by little. They charge them the same goddamn price, which is not respective to, inflation of any kind, and, you'll go for it. I can't figure out why these fucking people will just go along with anything. Probably because most people are stupid and they know that they influence the way they think, and, say, it's God, fuck you,
See,
people.
People like PD have a problem with anyone that has a set standard and won't accept shit that you're telling them is gold. Like, goodness gracious, you didn't just accept a steaming pile for what it was? Oh, you actually have something negative to say. Whoa, 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 now. I have a complete fucking pile of idiots over there that are saying it's really good. You need to go and lump yourself with them. Seriously.
Yeah,
get
that's
that fucking
when,
head meat out of there and stop using it.
That's when Stanley Wu comes by and says, "End of Rhine."
Hmm. Anyway, let's move off from this.
Let's
fucking
move
idiot.
on because this is getting fucking depressing. Fuck Peter Moore. Anyway,
Burn him at the
Yeah.
stake
yeah.
in his
yeah.
box.
Wait. Yeah,
With every
there you
single
go.
FIFA, Madden, and every fucking sports title, EA has had the misfortune of printing.
That'd be great. Look at EA, in the early 1990s. Then look at them in the early 2000s. Then look at them, around this time, and you ask yourself, how did that happen?
Yeah.
This is the same.
I blame John Madden. I'm gonna blame John Madden.
It's the same company that made freaking Wing Commander, that made System Shock 2.
It's Road Rash.
And Road Rash, yeah. Bastards.
Kidding me, people? What happened to this company?
Fuck them. We're gonna move on. We don't need them. If we don't need them, fuck them. We're gonna go into halftime now. Halftime where we kind of take a stretch and kind of talk about whatever we want because we're gonna go into the 8-bit ball bag this half. And Razorfist, how you doing?
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
Good. Anyway, on to the 8-bit ball bag.
What?
Our first piece of mail. Hey, I'm just taking some time, being jovial. Just we're doing that.
Are
You
we
know how
are we
it
having our Johnny Carson Ed McMahon banter? Is that what that was?
No, we were having our banter at Peter Moore's expense. That was just a false formality.
No, that's me sharpening my fucking axe and getting ready to smack him in the face with a fucking baseball bat.
Oh, you're just mad at me because I was on Star Search once. 3 1/4 stars.
Oh well.
Anyway, our
I'm
first
not
piece of
jealous.
mail. First piece of mail comes to us at gmail.com. We're going to the ball bag if I didn't mention that already. And please drop us a line. Comes from
Scrotal
Jamal.
sack.
For the what now?
The scrotal sack.
Next week we'll do the Scrotal sack just for you, Sainted Magnus. It'll be the Sainted Scrotal.
Yeah, and if any fucker mentions scented muffins in any of these upcoming emails, can you do me a slight favour? Shit into your hand and swallow the feces that comes out, because I'm not going to fucking make any fucking muffins.
Or rub it on your chest like G.G. Allen.
Remember, bananas and buds.
There you go.
Come on, and who wants to eat British cooking anyways? Let's be real here.
See?
Oh, anything better than American cooking? Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man.
You
Apparently
guys
we're
eat
good
some
at making
fucking
cologne.
Shit, I swear.
Hey, American
No,
cooking is
what was
good.
it
We
Ron
have deep
White
fried
said?
surprise.
What was it Ron White said? I ate dinner at a pub called the Fox and the Hound, and I think that's what they were serving that night.
Do people eat fox? Never mind. Anyway, our first piece of mail for the 8-bit ball bag comes to us from Jamal Valdez, who says, "What is a game or movie that the world could do without? Twilight and E.T. are already included.
Oh.
A game that the world or movie the world could do without. Razor Fist, you always know what sucks.
Avatar,
There you go.
without
Alpha
question.
Vegas-
That's low hanging fruit though. Game series. Oh gosh. You know what? Let's kill Mass Effect.
There you go.
We don't need a sequel. We know we're gonna get one, but we don't need one. And I think everyone's over it. And honestly, I think more sequels can only damage Electronic Arts, quite frankly.
Well, look at the sequel to Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Can't get more damage than that.
Well, KOTOR 2 wasn't too bad. It just wasn't finished.
No,
But
you're right there.
Star Wars: The Old Republic is where it really started heading downhill. But anyways, I would say that. I would say Mass Effect, or as far as movies go, absolutely Avatar or Transformers or some shit.
You know what? I'm
Anything by Michael Bay.
anything by Michael Bay. What's funny is that you said that because I don't really have a movie series that needs to go the fuck away, but M. Night Shyamalan needs to go the fuck away. Any movie of his, this guy can blow a dick. I'm sick and tired of his non-endings, and I've really fucking had it with Joaquin Phoenix. Did I mention that?
Yes.
Him and his goddamn hair lip, he just can go away. And a game series. What game series really needs to go the fuck away?
Zelda. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Zelda needs to go on fucking hiatus is what it needs.
They need to put some of those series on hiatus. I'm not even joking. Like what?
Absolutely.
What's the worst that could happen? Okay, you let Mario take a break for 5 years. Maybe you make a Wario game instead, like a real platformer or something that might be interesting. You know, like maybe you might actually have to, I don't know, create something.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know.
That's an unusual concept.
I know.
Nowadays, isn't it?
I know. I mean, you know.
To be fair now, they did it a whole bunch on GameCube. They just didn't advertise that they were actually making any of those games, and then nobody bought them.
Yeah, nobody bought
I can't figure out why no one's buying them. Haven't they heard of it? No. Well, carry on.
Poor GameCube.
But just translate that into Japanese.
Now, if only they'd created an ad campaign where Iwata-san materializes in your living room.
In purgatory.
with a semi-erect microcock and a...
Oh yeah, I'm pretty certain that during the GameCube era, I think a lot of people just didn't know Nintendo was still around.
I thought we were trying to get rid of things, not bloody advertise things.
Well, this is called a reprise. It happens in music sometimes.
Yes, I know.
You know, where you pat yourself on the back. Hey, we were funny earlier, weren't we? Anyway, Saint Magnus, what needs to go away?
What needs to go away? I'd say, in terms of movies, any fucking reboot movie you can think of.
Oh God, yeah. Total Recall.
Total Recall is around the fucking corner.
Why did they make that movie?
What?
2 weeks.
I know. We'll put Colin Farrell in it. Genius.
Oh God! All right, I'm going to modify that. Any remake and any Colin Farrell movie. There we go.
Hey, he was in. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Daredevil. I know, but we'll pretend he didn't exist.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just to make you fucking happy, so you don't go crying in a corner and running your eyelash. All right, there we go. So, right, video game to go. I'm gonna go for genre. It's a subgenre, which is first-person shooters, because it is just the whole gaming world is oversaturated with first-person shooters. Third-person shooters not so bad, but they're getting as bad, and just shooters in general, where you've got a light gun and shit. That's what we need. We need more of them. No.
Yeah. No, yeah, more. Actually, I wouldn't mind more on-rail shooters, Virtua Cop style or whatever.
Yes.
What I'd really like is, man, FPS doesn't need to go away, but they really need to go back to the philosophies of a game we're going to talk about a little later.
Doom.
But you know what I mean? Like more open worlds, more options, less hand-holding, more rewards for exploration.
You mean a game?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Holy
I'm
shit,
amazed.
a game. Oh, man.
I went back and
You
go back and play Perfect Dark or Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, and it's like you're playing through these levels and they don't tell you where to go.
No.
And you just kind of explore and you have fun and you encounter an enemy.
Don't you know that is now being called bad level design? I'm pretty sure that you must have it confused. See, nowadays, it's a linear hallway that stops you every 5 minutes to tell you what to do, and then you get an achievement just for opening the door.
I'll tell you one game that's doing the whole that does the whole holding your hands thing very, very well, and that's the Fable series of games. Well, Fable 2 and 3 specifically, because you got that stupid fucking wisp.
Glowy trail spell. Now it's to their credit.
Follow the golden flickering thing. Follow the golden flickering thing.
To their credit, you can turn it off, but still, it's so condescending. It's like the yellow highlight in Deus Ex: Human Revolution that thank God you can turn off.
Yes.
But I just hate things like that. Obviously, they're trying to get that wider audience. I don't mind it as long as you can shut it off in the menu, but still, it's like, come on, people.
It would be nice if they actually told you can shut it off in the fucking menu. I played 60 hours on each fucking Fable, and I couldn't turn that fucking wisp off. And nobody
Yeah,
tells
you
me
can-
until 2 years after I finish the fucking games. Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck!
Look, it's Satan getting all hot under the collar.
You feel better, man? You feel better?
Yeah, once I've kicked Peter Molyneux's fucking bald head through the floor.
There you go. See, this is healthy. This is very healthy. This is why we're here.
Although I do have to laugh at one thing. He has to
What's that?
change the name of his game called Curiosity.
Does
Oh,
he?
because
some person in NASA decided to name one of the little probes called Curiosity, and it's like, yay, he has to change the name and work a bit harder.
Millions.
What will he call it this time? We've had
Bullshit.
there you go. That's a great idea. Anyway, is there anything else that needs to go away?
I haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is there anything else that needs to go away?
Let's see. Anything associated with the Kardashians?
Yay.
Yes. They
Let's
have a
see,
movie series?
I don't know. I hate them. I hate all of them. I hate anything associated with them. I hate the
And
oxygen.
it's not even that they're popular. It's not even that they're vapid. The thing I hate about the Kardashians is the reason they're famous is because one of them was friends with Paris Hilton and saw how popular she got when she leaked her sex tape. So she turned around, leaks her own sex tape to the press, makes a deal with Vivid Video so she can make money off of it, and then goes on the talk show circuit and acts betrayed that someone leaked her press. Oh no, my publicist leaked my fucking sex tape. You leaked it yourself, bitch.
And why give your fucking sex tape to your publicist, you fucking dozy bitch?
She gave it to him so he could make her famous. It's as simple as that. And she's lying through her goddamn teeth. Her fake little veneer teeth.
Yeah, then
So-
Paris Hilton was no fucking better anyway.
Paris Hilton is nothing but a ragged fucking Arby's ad between two fucking shitty little cocaine-riddled thighs. So, yeah, she's pretty much had her day in the fucking...
God
spotlight.
damn.
Yeah,
That's,
I quite literally hate... And everybody listening, please understand when I say this, I genuinely despise reality TV and the tabloids with all the fucking like pseudo 5-minute stars. If it was up to me, I'd be locked in a room with every single one of those motherfuckers and they'd all be dead. And I would be awarded a medal.
I think I hate the audience even more. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck if any of our fans are listening to us and actually watch the Kardashians. You are a fucking imbecile if you watch that show. It is scripted. It's flat out fucking script. Every moment of every episode is scripted. The only reason reality shows are popular is because they don't have to pay actors. That's why.
No, they just have to
that's
pay,
why
they
it's
just have to
simple.
pay idiots. Come
Yeah,
on.
They just have to find an idiot who wants to be famous, fake famous, and they hand him a script or they just tell him via headset what to say. And
Yeah.
congratulations, you've got a successful...
Wait.
Yeah,
You mean Pawn Stars isn't like funny and stuff?
Yeah, ninjas show up in pawn stores all the time. Sure, I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have similar shows over here. We've got like there's one on ITV2 called The Only Way is Essex. Now Essex is the best way to describe that is tangerines walking around going, oh lush and all that fucking bullshit.
It's your version of Jersey Shore. I know you got that.
Yeah, we got that. And we got Geordie
Oh.
Shore as well.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
Geordie
that. Yeah.
Shore. What? And never mind.
You don't want to know.
Well-
You don't want to know. Although,
You
I
cannot
gotta-
unleash this evil on the world. You
Now,
cannot.
do you have all the Scandinavian versions of Big Brother that are basically porn?
No.
Do you have all those?
No.
Those are, man, I would love to live in Finland just so I could have the fucking the porn Big Brother, because it's literally like, oh hey, you want to see a bunch of models fuck? Okay, watch Big Brother.
Well, at the moment we've got Celebrity Big Brother on, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake! Every time I turn on Channel 5, thinking, oh, there's going to be an interesting car show on. No, and day number 300 in the Big Brother house, and somebody just took a shit. Oh, for fuck's sake!
And left it on the dining room table.
But this is the thing, you know, with all these reality shows, they should just disappear. They should just go fizzle away into space.
You think it's safe to say that everything should just fucking go away?
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm just gonna take a few warheads into fucking Take your
Beverly
warheads, and just drop them at specific locations across half.
Sainted's getting ready to climb the clock tower.
Oh,
Uh-oh. It's like Kent State all over again, man. Well, so everything needs to go away. We got to move on.
yeah.
We got to.
One minute. Alpha's not said what
Oh,
game he wants
no,
to go
you're
away.
gonna shoot me.
I'll shoot you if you want.
Wait,
Oh, great.
People are being shot? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I
Alpha's game.
don't know. If I was going to... I mean, the most obvious choice for a game I want to go away is Call of Duty. It's too cliche to pick right now. I will pick one that I will just remove from existence, despite some people saying, how dare you, but just hear me out. Gears of War. The reason I say this is because so many franchises and game developers straddle that fucking gameplay like is the best throbbing member ever to exist in all of phallic history, and it just makes me sad that they're just like Me Too shadow clones.
Oh yeah,
So,
Gears of War. Gears of War is a perfect example of a game, kind of like Halo, that if they had left it at 1 or 2 games, would have been remembered really well. But they just lingered a little too fucking long. You know what I mean? Like Gears of War 1, I played it. I mean, I'm not a big shooter guy, but it was fun. It was okay. I like some of the things that are in it. I like that the game's in third person. It's a nice, refreshing change from most shooters. But you get to Gears of War 2 and 3, and suddenly, the thrill is gone. And it just... now the entire industry is trying to make their own answer to fucking Gears of War, and it's just not working for them. And thanks for fucking up Mass Effect, by the way, Epic. I really appreciate that. So.
Yeah. All right. now that we're all feeling good about ourselves, we got more mail in the Gmail box, and this piece mail comes from Majid. That's all it says, MAAJID. And Majid says, "Did you receive my mail?" Yes, we did. Moving on. Our next piece of mail comes from the and he says, "Hey guys, love the show. I have 2 questions for you. In a previous podcast, you talked about who your favorite wrestlers were. My question to you is who your least favorite wrestler is, and what is your all's thoughts on Daniel Bryan," I don't know who that is, "changing his catchphrase from yes, yes, yes to no, no, no. And he also changed the yes lock to the no lock. Thanks again, and keep up the good work." I guess we can go after the first one. Least favorite professional wrestler. Raise your fist.
I'm gonna have to say, it's gonna be the game, Triple H, who can't cut a promo in less than 40 goddamn minutes. I fucking hate Triple H. He's the cancer. He's the cancer that's killing professional wrestling. He is an absolute glory hog. He cannot have a match without making himself look like $1 million. He's just the biggest dickhead on the planet, and he would be the one. And he's not a good wrestler. I mean, goddamn, you should do a drinking game of every time he uses his knee. It's absolutely ridiculous. You will be under the table with goddamn cirrhosis before the end of the first fucking minute. I swear to God.
You know what? I'm gonna vote for. I told you I've been kind of going through WCW via YouTube, kind of chronologically, and I fucking hate Hulk Hogan.
What?
How can you throw the same what?
How can you hate Hulk Hogan?
Because I watched him in WCW from 1994 to 1996.
He's the man.
Are you shitting me? Have
He's
you watched those
American-made. Come on. He's American made.
That theme song was the best part of the whole goddamn performance. I kind of like that song better than the Rick Derringer song.
So do I, man. It's a good song.
American made.
Well, here's the thing. Did you guys ever hear the Hulk Hogan song called Beach Patrol? It's a rap song.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
I remember one part. It's like, well, I was walking down the street looking for some action, and like, I don't remember what it said after that, but it is the most ridiculous shit I've ever fucking. I mean, Macho Man has a rap CD, but that's ridiculous in its own right. But this one was pre Macho Man saying, "Hogan, be a man," So, yeah,
Well-
it's oh man, it's fucking awesome.
Well, you remember
Ultimate Man. Okay, so Macho Man's got one. Hulk's got one. Where is Ultimate Warrior's rap album? Is what I'm asking.
dude, take
That's-
everything he ever said and put it over a bass drop, and you got it.
I was gonna
Man,
say,
it would.
how do you
number-
rhyme snarls?
You think it's gonna be hard to rhyme snarls? How are you supposed to rhyme?
Death metal does it from time to time.
with the rocket fuel, Hulk Hogan.
And I said to my little warriors, I said,
Is this how we answer questions? Random grunts
this
and
is exactly how we answer questions. But Alpha Megasin, who's your least favorite professional wrestler?
I was actually thinking about that quite a bit. I mean, I've got a fucking stable of motherfuckers I want to see lit on fire. One of which I'm not gonna say he's my most least favorite. Oh my god, but he's definitely up there on the list as Jeff Jarrett. I would gladly throw him in the fucking
That guy in
traffic.
his teeth.
He was totally the Triple H of WCW for a while, and he was the Triple H. Now he's
No.
the Triple H.
You know what? That's honestly demeaning Triple H by quite a bit. Even if you hate Triple H, to his credit, has actually done credible things, whereas Jeff Jarrett has only done credible things in his own mind. And
Jeff Jarrett has been the blonde honky tonk man for like the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, he's so fucking horrible. And another dude I'll just put out there for the fuck of it is Batista. That
God.
forgettable wretch, musclehead, no fucking talent piece of fucking dog shit. I have no clue how they put a strap around that retarded motherfucker, but they managed to. And they
If you
even
put it on Sheamus, they can put it on anybody.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I mean, Sheamus, I'm Irish and proud. Sheamus, he can go get fucked by all of, what was it, U2 that he was guarding? Yeah, I wish they would fuck him with the airplane that they board all the time to go touring.
Wow,
He's
he
a
was the
fucking
bodyguard for you too.
Yes.
That's funny because they went from who was it? Was it Test? Test was the bodyguard for Motley Crue. I mean, how does that? If that is not a clear indicator of how the mighty have fallen. Bodyguard for Motley Crue in the 80s to bodyguard for U2 in 1998.
Don't forget, Kevin Nash was like a fucking bouncer at a strip club. So
Yeah, Razor Ramon was too, I think.
yeah, so it goes to show how. Now you understand their business sense. Anyway, Sensitive Magnets. Who needs to go away? Who's your least favorite professional wrestler?
John Cena.
Yes!
Oh,
Yeah.
How did we miss John Cena? How did
That's
happen?
actually a good
It's-
question.
Absolute fucking cash whore. That's all he is.
Yeah.
He can't rap. He has the shittest fucking entrance music.
Oh,
He
yeah.
comes out waving his arms about, does what, one or two fucking special moves. I know he's supposed to be like The Rock, but The Rock was actually fucking cool and credible. This fucking
Rock
guy
could have
has no
match.
fucking talent whatsoever. And John Cena needs to fucking drop dead. And
well, what's funny is John Cena to me follows the Hogan template to a T. He's
Yeah.
popular with the kids. He's almost got a goddamn cartoon show. You know,
Yeah.
he does next to
what do
nothing.
you think
He's got big
WWE is nowadays? It's a fucking cartoon show. Why do you think none of us fucking watch it anymore?
Man, I would watch it if it were a cartoon show, but it really isn't. It's like a boring UFC cartoon. It's not even like a good cartoon like it was back in the 90s.
Have you heard that they've lowered the rating for it now? It's now PG.
What?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been
and
PG for
to
a
their
while now.
credit, I mean, in their defense, it was PG during a lot of my favorite eras too. At the beginning of the Attitude Era, it was still PG. Actually, most of the Attitude Era was PG. They bleeped out most of the swearing, but it was
True.
like there's a difference between
more bloody then.
yeah, but back then they were 1986 PG. Now they are 2012 PG. They're G is what they are. So I just can't stand it.
Cut the balls off of everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, can someone tell me what the hell Daniel Bryan is?
He's a guy who is really, really boring, and all he does is shout the word yes repeatedly, and because the crowd are a bunch of gibbering fucking imbeciles, they will chant it along with him, and somehow that gets him over. I don't know how.
I was gonna say, I can actually say something to his defense. He's actually a very credible, wrestler, like actual
in
wrestler.
In the ring, he's fantastic. The man has the charisma of an expired bag of beets. However,
I was gonna say, have you seen him like when? There's a couple things he does do right. I don't like the overly gimmick. Yes, yes, yes. Then they changed it to no, no, no because they were trying to turn him heel because he was already a heel to begin with. Then people actually started liking him, forcing him to become a face, and then they brought in Charlie Sheen because they were desperate to have star power and get more Twitter followers.
Wait, when was this?
This was just literally like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen showed up via fucking his home because I'm assuming he was on house arrest again, and he'd randomly act. And I quotes here, act like he was interested in what was going on. And he was supposed to be feuding with Daniel Bryan for some fucking reason. And then Charlie Sheen didn't give a fuck anymore. So that angle went nowhere. And the no, no, no stuff is still happening because they can sell t-shirts.
Yeah,
so,
what do you guys mean? What do you mean I'm bipolar? I'm by winning.
Yeah, by winning. Tiger's blood, herd or
Oh,
herd.
asshole,
God.
you are a multi-drug addicted mono douchebag. That's what you are, shithead.
Good for him too, right?
Yeah, right. Move on. Nobody cares.
Well, that's our discussion of Daniel Bryan, and that's going to do it for the 8-bit ball bag because we ran out of mail, and everyone's tired and wants to go home.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. No, we got another half of the show here. Alpha Omegason brought this to my attention. Apparently, through various reports and an article at screwattack.com, apparently, or coming from ex-Rare employees, claim that Microsoft held down Rare for many years and are in fact the ones that can Killer Instinct 3. Alpha Omegason, do you have more on this story for us?
Yeah, ex-Rare employee. Forgot the dude's name off the top of my head. I do apologize, folks. But the dude basically went on record and was just detailing some of the fucking shortcomings of the deal with Rare and Microsoft, one of which was the fact that they oversaw all their projects, naturally, because, they're part of them. But they oversaw them and were like, yeah, I don't like what you're working on. Change this and this. As a matter of fact, cancel that entire project. Oh, is that some IPs you're trying to continue? No, we're thinking you need to work on this stuff over here. Oh, is that Killer Instinct 3? Yeah, we're not really interested in ultra-violent fighting games. As a matter of fact, we're not even interested in fighting games. So stop that. And they rolled up a newspaper, beat every single employee over the nose until they got in front of their computers and slaved away like fucking mindless monkeys. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. Penis.
Yeah.
So basically, they fucked everything up again.
Monkeys!
Yeah, more or less.
Well, it
Microsoft,
sounds like
you
it sounds to me.
Fucking idiots.
It just sounds to me like further evidence of what I've been saying since day one, that Microsoft is not interested in first-party development. They got a first-party developer, albeit a relatively incompetent one that hasn't made a very good game in a long time. Although I know a lot of kids who like Viva Pinata, so there's that. But they're really extremely incompetent. Let's be real. They haven't made a real hit since Conker's Bad Fur Day, maybe. And I honestly think Microsoft doesn't even look at them as a developer anymore. I think they're pretty much content to have them working on Kinect, shovelware, and fucking working on adding avatar clothing and shit. That's literally their assignment, is designing
See,
the
here's
avatars.
the thing, though. Just with, like, an article like this, it makes me question a whole lot, like, is it really Rare that's fumbling and fucking off and messing up left and right? Or are they really being held back creatively to such an extent that, well, they're absolutely put into a fucking corner with no options?
See, I think it's a little of column A and a little column B. I think they made a lot of really fucking stupid decisions, which ultimately led to a lot of people leaving the studio. And so they're left as a kind of gutted studio, and Microsoft doesn't even look at them as a viable, first-party developer. And beyond that, even if they did look at them as a viable first-party developer, they're not interested in first-party games. Their competition is spinning their wheels in the mud creating first-party games, and they're doing nothing to help them. So they're looking at them like, we really don't need games. I don't know. I personally disagree with that, but that I think is just further proof that Microsoft flat out does not give a shit about games. Period.
Nope.
So
Which
Well,
makes
they
me
don't
wonder,
make
how do they
game
expect to make
consoles.
money in video games?
No,
Well,
no, you're missing the point there. They don't make video games anymore. They make entertainment products.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Demise.
yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. They beat that into everybody's skulls at E3 to everybody just
So
looking
wait.
at them like, call them video games. Do
Yeah,
it.
now
I
you
dare
guys,
you.
I'm not the smartest guy on the podcast. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm not the smartest guy of anything. But could someone please explain to me how you're going to sell cutting edge entertainment with a 7-year-old machine?
I don't know.
And
Someone please explain that to me, because I'm lost there.
it's all right. All they're selling you really is a billboard and an advertisement device into your
It
front.
seems that way too, and you got to pay money to use the world's worst internet browser.
And a fucking camera that does exactly 2 fucking things and doesn't
What
have
did
any
you
games that are
fab?
worth playing integrated with it. So yeah, they got that.
Well, it basically it turns every gamer into fat people because they cannot be bothered to actually go to stand up and actually use their finger to turn on the Xbox. They just shout, "Xbox on." That's it.
Are you shitting me? Does that really work?
Yes.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, that's the primary appeal of the Kinect. Really, it's more the voice recognition that's being used here rather than the actual.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's
See, I'd probably spend a good amount of time just fucking with it.
It's all it is. It's meant to make fat, lazy people into even fatter, lazier people.
So wait a minute, wait. You're telling me that Microsoft, one of the leading technological companies of the last, the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century, has gone from making some of the finest games or at least making some of the finest games in the world available to now giving us the 21st century version of the clapper.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the clapper.
And you guys have the fucking nerve to wonder why we're not more positive on this show? Anyway, so yeah, Rare is dying, and apparently Microsoft did it, but Microsoft didn't do it.
Hold on. You actually have to. That's kind of a fallacious descriptor. It's
Okay.
really the clap. It's what would happen if the clapper fucked the iToy. So you can understand the popularity.
I see. But did the iToy watch you jerk off too?
Well, at least the iToy fucking worked.
If you ask it nicely.
The
Watch-
iToy did not work.
It worked
It did not.
eventually.
It didn't even know you were there.
I don't know. The one thing that's kind of ironic is that the PlayStation 3 iToy and the iToy on PS2 are the same exact resolution. I think that's kind of weird.
I know
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
But you know what else makes me laugh though? You can go onto the internet, download some drivers, and the fucking iToy actually becomes more useful than the fucking Kinect does.
How's that?
I don't know. I think the
Straight
Kinect's
to
a
more
really
games
useful
that way?
device. If you plug a Kinect into a computer, it's like the coolest fucking thing you could ever imagine if you've got, the brains how to use it. But as a entertainment device hooked up to the Xbox 360, no, it's not worth a fucking hill of
You
beans.
see that? Speaking of which, did you see that creepy dude in Japan who made the interactive Animu chick raping sim with the Kinect? That was creepy.
What?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say that. What?
Porn.
Look that up sometime. Fun stuff. And of course, Kotaku were the ones who linked it, naturally.
Oh, wait. So we're suffering through sequel after sequel, and this is going on somewhere, and I don't know about it?
Yeah.
I am appalled.
You're totally oblivious once again.
I'm
I'm appalled that this has not been brought to my attention. This sounds vaguely important.
my working theory is it's Movie Bob in a Japanese person costume. That's my theory.
That's a perfectly cromulent theory.
What is it with this podcast? You're trying to use big fucking words all the time.
I don't, man. It's
Hey,
superlative.
you're supposed to have the superior linguistic skills there, Sainted. You're the British guy.
Yeah,
I
just
know,
because I'm
but-
British doesn't mean I have the superior linguistics skills. Because I
That's
don't
very
need.
true. I think you hold Saint Magnus to an unbelievably high standard. However, I'm sure he makes the finest tea of anyone on this dais. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. I'm
bet
still
he's-
I'm still waiting for my fucking coffee. You know.
Oh well, I'm sorry.
What do you think I pay you guys for?
Well, that's a good point. So what I'll need you to do is just fucking sit there and wait a little while longer.
Well,
Anyway,
Fucking hurry up! I'm thirsty.
I'm working on. I'm working on it. Yeah. Somebody get Saint Madison's coffee. Oh, okay. Here's something we got to talk about. Razor Fist and I were having a discussion about this. There was an article in Gama Sutra. Is it Gama Sutra or Gamma Sutra? Who gives a shit?
So I've got the
And
set catalogue.
they were talking about something that Ben Cousins, general manager of NG Moko, apparently which sounds like boogers. They they make iOS titles, and this article rattles off all his theories for trends of what's going to happen to, or apparently that mobile gaming is going to destroy everybody. Isn't that quite right, Razor Fist?
He claims that within the next 5 to 10 years, consoles will be completely gone. He claims they will be, and I mean, come on. It is so convenient to say this in the year 2012 when it's doing so badly as a result of so many combined factors, and as a virtue of the fact that it's stuck around longer than any console generation to date. Like, he's using all of these things to justify an utterly unjustifiable position. Half of this shit is just hearsay and extrapolation on extremely small samples of data, and which is why it makes perfect sense that Gama Sutra would be the ones to report it. But anyway, I patently disagree with everything in this fucking article.
Just this concept that somehow your phone is going to replace the television, and
It's already replaced the TV remote.
Is that true? Your phone can operate the TV?
Yeah, if you got certain apps, you can actually program it to go into the frequency of your TV and change your TV.
He's basically saying that mobile gaming is going to supplant home gaming, which I think it's two different things. I think it already is two different things. It has been
for a long time.
Is Angry Birds the same thing as even an Xbox Live downloadable title like Castle Crashers or whatever? No, they're two completely different kinds of things. Is Uncharted anything like, Animal Crossing, or not Animal Crossing, but Farmville? It's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. I think they're just going to grow into two separate industries, and maybe one will be more lucrative than the other.
Sure.
But I don't think that by necessity completely does away with the other.
No, they're not necessarily warring factions or anything. But the thing is, the way I look at mobile gaming, yes, is very popular. Why? Because we got a bunch of bored fucking people on this planet who cannot sit for fucking 1.5 minutes at a red light while they're waiting for the next car to go, or while they're waiting in the dentist office. The success of mobile gaming, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that you can't masturbate in public. Because if you can masturbate in public and just kill time that way, people would.
Does it stop college students?
I know that's true, but as soon as that becomes like socially acceptable, mobile gaming will see a severe hit. I guarantee it. But it seemed to me just another example of a lot of what like Peter Moore was doing. One of the features early on in the show. Seems like just fluffing of the shareholders. This is them saying, "Oh yeah, we see, they're not doing so well, which means we will be king." This.
Yeah. And the head of
this is a lot like the bullshit that Hitler was selling, to get Germany out of their, massive depression in the early 1930s. It's saying things.
Look at you, God-winning yourself.
I know, I'm great. Wait, what? No, I guess I'm giving it too much credit, but this is simply another example of just because you keep saying it doesn't mean it's true. They say that however many people can't be wrong. It's like, yeah, there are still hundreds of thousands of people in the United States and North America who think that Elvis is still alive. And just because they keep saying it on their blog doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I could have made an Alex Jones reference right there, but I didn't to save face. Wait. Fuck. Anyway, so Saint Magnus, do you have anything to say about this?
Not particularly. I'm not.
So, I think it's safe to say that these are two completely different things, and they will not be a threat to each other as things move forward.
To be honest, they try. As you can see, what they announced with the Vita, for example, they announced that you can actually use your Vita to control your PS3's media options and shit like that. But you've been able to do that for years with remote play anyway. I for one, am not worried about mobile gaming. If the casuals want to play on the fucking iPhone and play a bit of Angry Birds on the bus, so be it. I just know that I can sit on the bus with my Nintendo DS or my PSP or whatever and enjoy proper games on a proper system.
Yes,
Sure, it's different for different people,
bothers-
absolutely.
What bothers me and should bother other people is what a preposterously low standard mobile games are held to. Like, it seems like a hit on a mobile platform or a hit on a, just a phone game, just one that doesn't shit itself, is seen as like a game changer and like one of the greatest things ever made. Like fucking all these games that, I mean, Angry Birds is a perfect example. Is Angry Birds that amazing from a gameplay standpoint? No, absolutely
really.
not. But the simple fact that it seems like a full retail game from about 1993 is amazing to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think really the day when a game on mobile is every bit as robust as Assassin's Creed 2, I think when that comes along, then we can say they might be in trouble. But I just don't. They're offering two completely different experiences. I do not see how one infringes upon the other. Period.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Your phone can't even fucking handle having Mozilla Firefox, your music player, and a calculator open at the same time.
It's true.
So you mean to tell me that that this is going to be some sort of a threat? Maybe, but not for a very long time. And the problem is, if your phone can do that, imagine what else it can fucking do.
It's still more processing power than the PS3, though.
Hey.
Or memory anyway. So
I'm just happy that my PS3 is not sat on a shelf gathering dust.
Yeah, that's and we admire you, Saint Magnus, for sticking to that dead horse. We appreciate that.
For regularly dusting.
Yes, that's very good of you.
I actually use it a lot.
That's
So
good. That's good. I'm very happy for you, and I hope one day they start making games for it again.
they're still making games for it, actually.
Are there any you like?
There's a few I'm waiting for.
See, look how long it took you to defend. Like,
Look at Yell Chaos standing in for my role in today's edition of Fanboy Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, wait
Yeah.
Hey, how did that happen?
I know.
Hey,
It's alright. He's too busy trying to
Nintendo Power!
collect fake money at the moment, and he's crying over Nintendo Power.
I know, but-
As for Razor Fist, he's wondering why he's got a console that isn't making any fucking games.
No, he's
for
not.
them.
He's sitting there with his feet up and a cigar saying, I ain't got to do shit today.
He don't. You're missing something there. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't
What's
drink
that?
either, for that matter.
Oh, I know, but everybody smokes a cigar to congratulate themselves, and who's better at congratulating themselves than the mighty Razor Fist?
It's true. It's true.
See?
That's because he's an egotistic tossback.
And we
And I
admire him
keep
for that.
reminding
Hey,
him of that every week, and he keeps reminding himself of that every morning when he looks in the mirror putting his eyeliner on.
it's true. He's a good man. He's a
I swear,
good
the
man.
guy wears more eyeliner than a fucking bitch that lives down the road with orange faces.
It's true.
The
I
hard
wear more
faces.
eyeliner than a crack whore, but come
That's
on,
because
don't
you are
hate
a
me
cracker.
because I'm...
How else are you
What?
supposed to fit in them
Exactly.
jeans?
Customers cannot afford eyeliner. They buy in crack. Anyway, you know what? Hey, we're towards about the end of the podcast. I know it's sad, but we'll be back with you next week. But it's come to my favorite part. Your favorite part? Is it a rant? No, we got nothing to rant about. As you know, it's the dead of summer. And we've already been pissed off throughout the whole podcast, and that's about all we had to go by. But the mighty Razor Fist, Mr. Fist, said, hey, we should do another 8-bit retrospective. And I said, that's a great fucking idea. So, what were we talking about, Mr. Fist?
Ass kisser.
This past weekend marks the 15th anniversary of Sainted Magnus nearly losing his virginity. I'm sorry, no, it's the 15th anniversary of Goldeneye.
I was 12 then.
You were an early bloomer.
Early bloomer. When did you lose your virginity then, laddie? Come on, punch.
I'll let you know. I think I have my alarm set for. No.
Are you admitting that you're a? I've been waiting to say this. A virgin?
Come on now, folks. The amount of poon that I get is not a relevant subject, folks.
Well, you're the one that put it. You're the one that brought up the subject. Come on.
I don't want to talk about how I get more tang than a thirsty astronaut. All right.
Lack of.
I want to weigh in on this real quick. Okay, this might have been cutting edge, like in those Sweet Valley High School novels. Just so you know.
Damn. Damn that reference. Damn.
Oh,
Oh.
Of rare.
Dude, that's not left field. That's like the parking lot behind the Denny's beside left field. That shit was
I
way
know.
over there.
hey.
That was pretty neat, though. I liked
Anyway,
All right.
you've avoided answering the question. Come on.
This
You
is not
what?
relevant to our discussion.
Well, you're the one that brought it up. I'm putting you on the spot, laddie.
I just hope that no males are currently frothing at the fucking jaw. Just, oh my god, is he? Oh man. I
There's-
don't.
Oh man, I have a freaking minute.
Say, what the fuck are they going to talk about Goldeneye?
It's the 15th anniversary of Goldeneye, bitches. We have to.
And who
we
was
have to-
Goldeneye?
Well, it's
This
kind
is
of fitting we're talking about sex because it's James Bond. He always sleeps with a girl. You know,
It's
which according to what Razor Fist is trying to avoid, he's pretty much hidden.
The ma-
He's
the
never
man.
felt the taste of a tang.
Aw. Anyway, Razor Fist, tell us more about the 15th anniversary of Goldeneye.
It's the 15th anniversary of Goldeneye, and
Hey!
yeah,
I thought that was gonna be it. I was like, whoa.
I know, all right.
Couch
No.
gaming at its best.
Honestly, guys,
Absolutely.
I think this fucking game, it still rules today. It still holds up. It's just it arguably formed the blueprint for what we know today as FPS multiplayer, with all the positives and negatives that entails. It created so much, and then when you really get into the single player campaign, it's basically got everything that current generation first person shooters are missing.
Severely.
What do you mean, a plot?
Open-endedness, a plot, a halfway decent story,
Challenge.
guns that fall outside of the standard 3 stereotypes of sniper rifle, pistol, shotgun. You know what I mean? Like you've actually got a relative selection, and they're all based on real firearms in real life, but they're all named something different because they didn't want to pay licensing fees.
Don't forget, they also got the golden gun, which was my favorite.
There's not
Scaramanga.
linearity in there. It was one of the first examples of first-person stealth gameplay.
I
Actually,
love that aspect of it so much.
it even predates Thief the Dark Project as much as myself and the Sainted Magnus love that game. It's it actually predates it by about a year.
Yep, 1997.
Yeah, amazing game with so much going on. You can play it to this day and still have fun. It also formed the groundwork for Rare's future work with Perfect Dark, the first one.
First.
Not
We don't talk about that other one. It's not real.
That
What's not-
Xbox 360 abomination.
oh,
Not
God,
real.
Launch title.
I
And you
thought
can
we
tell-
agreed not to talk about that.
Yeah, let's not. But but
Happy times.
great fucking game. I just have so many memories. I thought we would talk about just fucking memories of playing that game and what the impact it's had on the modern industry and what the modern industry could learn from GoldenEye 007 on the N64.
Absolutely fucking everything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a great game. I mean, I can remember many times. Good friend of mine, John, way back when we were kids hanging out, he'd play it and I'd watch because I was never very good at it because I just never got good at stealth games. But every once in a while we do the multiplayer, and that's when I first discovered that I hate multi-screen or split screen. rather.
Oh yeah. That was the standard complaint was you're looking at my screen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Screen
I-
and
Well,
watch.
of course I'm
remember-
looking. It's on the same goddamn screen. But that was a very special time. In fact, we would often play the game, then we'd take a break to go peep his sister, and then we'd come back to playing as if nothing had ever happened. Those were the days.
Yeah, I have a story about that. My friend, he had this. It was a 32-inch TV. It was like the size of one of those Trinitron Sony TV things.
That was probably epically huge back then,
It
too.
was epically huge back then. My friend got the cereal boxes from downstairs ready for recycling, and there were 4 of us playing. He cut them up and made like a grid and stuck it to the front of the TV so then nobody could look at each other's fucking screen.
So no. Wow.
He was obsessed with that sort of thing, and he didn't just do that with Goldeneye. He did it with both the first 2 Time Splitters games when we used to live down the road from each other.
Yeah. You said the problem with Star Fox 64 too. Ah, Nintendo 64 split screen. Good stuff. Of course, then the Xbox came around and did the networking thing, which was cool. So you didn't have that problem, but you had to have 4 fucking Xboxes in the same goddamn room.
Yeah.
And
I never
usually
really-
that would drain all your power bill for that month.
Yeah. Well, just one Xbox can really work over your electricity bill.
I know, seriously.
But Alpha Omega Sin, do you have any distinct GoldenEye memories?
I have too many to even fucking count. Goldeneye, I mean, anybody that grew up and was fortunate enough during the N64 era to either own one, rent one, or know a friend who had it, had one of the most awesome experiences ever because it was fresh at the time. It was new. It wasn't something you really got to experience much outside of, all the very fortunate PC gamers out there who have been doing it for several years prior. But consoles were finally getting that. And the thing is, Razorfist summed up a lot of stuff about it. It had a fantastic single-player campaign. It followed a story for the most part. You got to actually sneak about and everything. You got to snipe people. You got to shoot people. There was different ways you could go through the stages and complete your missions. It was just, it's fucking awesome. So, yeah,
And there were so
I
many
heard it.
There were so many gadgets and so many ways to kill people. Like, you remember with the watch laser? I would actually run around in multiplayer actually shooting people with the fucking watch laser. I mean, this game just had so much to it. It was so freaking cool. There was just 1,000. Like, you remember stacking remote mines on the wall? Until you had like a sausage link sticking out like 1.5 feet off the wall of just remote mines.
Well, there was some, but just going to the single player a little bit before we start mushing on the multiplayer a bit. One of the missions that sticks out to me, and if you remember in the film when this woman's hacking the computer inside this armored train in the middle of Moscow, and Pierce Brosnan is trying to get through the floor to get out of the train before it blows up. They actually captured that mission so accurately.
They did.
Yeah, because it was like, you stood there with your watch laser blasting the fucking locks off. And you're like, fucking aim right. And the thumbstick's so fucking jerky. You're like, come on, fucking shoot the bloody hole. Come on, shoot the lock, shoot the lock, shoot locks. And it was just things like that.
Perhaps most impressive about that whole sequence was there was no objective saying, hey, use your watch laser to shoot there was no on-screen flashing prompt saying, hey, use your watch laser and shoot this. You had to figure it out for yourself. Or you had to have seen the movie. Because otherwise you wouldn't know what you were supposed to do there. There was just like a panel. You didn't even know your watch laser could be used to shoot those things off.
Nope.
Up until that point. It was the first time it had been used. I mean, that's just a perfect example of, like, games back then, there were fewer expectations for the developer to just, grab your hand and say, do this, bitch. I really enjoy that aspect of the single-player campaign of GoldenEye. There's a lot of wandering around and trial and error, but it's worth it because there's more exploration and you end up being more immersed in the game. And having more fun.
Here's one thing I want to talk about because it was a hindrance, but one that I can look back, with fucking fuzzy warm feelings of nostalgia rage. And that's, what the fuck is the chick's name in the movie? Natalia?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Xenia or Natalia?
Natalia, because you had the missions where you had to protect her, and was it inside? Damn, I can't remember the stage, but you had to break out of the jail cell, and she's running around, and she'll just run in front of you and just stand there while 4 dudes pile through a door, start shooting, and you're trying to shoot around her and not hit her, and oh man, so many times I just flipped out wanting to fucking punch the TV. I was just like, why are you so fucking stupid? Move! And it was just, oh man, because, escort missions weren't like something you did all the time back in the day. But that was one of my earliest memories of just wanting to rip my hair out and headbutt a baby seal or something. And just, why is this occurring? Why is she so dumb? Fucking AI, please work.
There is one thing I have to point out, though. The fucking music was fantastic on that game.
It was like a combination of the movie soundtrack and, like, but they put it through, like, the N64 kind of MIDI sound kind of thing, and then they made their own soundtrack along with it, and it's really good and iconic. Like literally talking about it right now, I can hear it in my head. I know exactly, and I'm sure we all. Yeah.
Dude, you want to know what music I hear the most whenever I think about it? The very first stage, whenever it starts up, that I think of that, and then I think of whenever you go to the start menu, that real somber music that plays when you're going through your menu and all that shit and your items and whatnot.
Yeah.
I remember those songs distinctly.
Oh yeah, that game has a great soundtrack. And am I wrong, or will there be a whole generation of kids that, even though the Pierce Brosnan movies by and large really sucked, will forever see James Bond as Pierce Brosnan just because of this game? Like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that game single-handedly made a bunch of kids into James Bond fans who never knew or gave a fuck about any 007 film.
It's true.
Yeah.
I went to see Tomorrow Never Dies in theaters. God, it was terrible. But
God damn it.
but I went to see it because fucking I'd played the game. What are you gonna do?
You know what's funny is, since we're on such a nostalgia trip, it seems, or at least the gaming industry was a few years ago. Would it have been great to see a game actually based on like Diamonds Are Forever?
Or Moonraker.
Yeah, I mean Sean Connery's still alive. Go get him.
Well, they technically had the one Moonraker stage in Goldeneye. So that
Oh well,
kind
there
of
was
counts.
that. Yeah, but it's not the same.
I know, but I mean, it's something, and at the very least, it was in the best 007 game. And if anybody out there fucking disagrees that there's a better 007 game, you are high as fuck. High as a goddamn kite.
Well, have you not played?
High as,
Has
high
to
as
be
a goddamn, the highest fuck you've ever heard of.
Have you not
Yeah.
played Goldeneye Rogue Agents on the PS? That was a fantastic game.
Not better than GoldenEye.
Oh, they fucking ported that bloody version of Goldeneye on every single fucking platform they could get the grubby mitts on. Do you remember that? Goldeneye Rogue Agent.
Oh, there were so many bad games sold because of how good GoldenEye was.
Yes.
Rogue Agent was terrible. I wasn't crazy about Nightfire on the GameCube, or although I will say, The World Is Not Enough for the N64 and PS1, not half bad
No,
actually.
the PS1 one wasn't too bad. I must admit, I did enjoy that one. I never
Yeah,
played
really-
the 64 version though.
Yeah, they're both really good, although they didn't upgrade the graphics at all for the N64 version. You can tell it's a PS1 game, but
Yeah.
it's still a really good game. Follows the story pretty well. Kind of underrated actually. Probably should have been as big as GoldenEye. Arguably, it's really good multiplayer and whatnot. But there were a lot of terrible James Bond games sold on that. And
Oh yes.
from what I
Yes,
hear,
you-
the new Wii GoldenEye is kind of not so good.
Oh,
I've
that's
actually got it.
included.
Yes, and it's actually quite decent.
I was
Oh,
gonna
really?
ask
Okay.
this.
The gameplay I saw looked really standard FPS to me.
Yeah, I mean, but it does feel like the original. You
Well,
know,
that's
it's
probably
some
what it was
upbeats.
going for then.
Oh yeah. So
But
it's
Daniel
it's not a bad
Craig.
game.
But Daniel Craig.
I
come
know, I know. I hate Daniel Craig too.
They
Hey,
couldn't,
since,
get the rights to Pierce Brosnan.
With the
Yeah.
multi,
Excuse me.
I was gonna say, with the multiplayer being like one of the biggest components of GoldenEye's fucking legacy, what are your favorite stages just to go on to?
The tank level for me.
Oh
After you
man.
just broke out the
favorite
library.
single player or multiplayer?
Multiplayer.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Complex for everyone. I know.
Complex.
Fucking Complex was awesome.
I
I also
thought that was
liked
called the facility.
Facility
That's right.
was my
No. I
second
liked
favorite.
I did actually like the Complex too, though. But yeah, I was thinking of the facility. The facility is for everyone. Yeah. But what was the other one where the with the like triple? It was like triple storied, and you were like, was it the archives?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Wait,
But
I
there
was
were a
gonna
lot of-
say, is it the one that it looks kind of like it has like the glass windows and like
Yes.
the little empty rooms?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the complex one, I believe.
Okay.
Or,
there's the
no, that's
Complex
archives.
one.
My bad. Wait, is
Okay.
that archives or complex? No, I can't fucking remember.
I think it might be the Complex. Man, it's been too long since I played that game.
Yeah,
the
and
one
I
I will
guarantee
say,
somebody's listening right now, and they're like, "No, it's this. Say it's this."
the, the
And
one,
then I'll have
the
to
one-
remind them that we can't hear you.
The one I will say, go to hell for eternity on is the Aztec. I hated that
Oh
mission.
man, you know what I fucking hated was the cheap bastards who'd fucking keep opening and closing the gigantic door. Like you're running around, all of a sudden you're trying to go through, and you think that you're opening the door, but they're closing. Then all of a sudden you don't realize they're there, and you're like, brr, brr. You're like, oh, you fucking fucks, fuck. No, that game, and it's weird because recently they were talking about that game and something, and they said that the multiplayer was actually not originally intended for it, and
Yeah,
they kind of
they put it in-
secretly put it in there.
They put it in 6 months before the game shipped. I
Which
shit
is
you
saying
not.
something because it had a very long development cycle, very long.
And it was one guy as well. We should probably throw this name out there. Let me look up the article. I think Destructoid wrote it on it. But it was one guy, more or less, who championed the multiplayer and basically created it almost single-handedly himself over the course of that 6-month span. And he had like just fought and fought and fought to get this fucking thing in the game. Let me
Well,
see
that
if
dude deserves all of our fucking respect
Yeah.
because he gave us and millions of other gamers out there
And the millions.
time. And millions of other fans out there with some of the best gaming experiences ever, and for future gamers too, who are fortunate enough to go back and relive that awesome fucking game over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one thing I will say about Goldeneye, though, that it is one of those games that was literally a system seller because it was a pack-in for the 64 for a while.
Oh yeah, definitely a killer app.
Oh, without question.
I don't
Yeah.
think we would have heard of the N64 without, some of the work that GoldenEye put in.
Oh, and it single-handedly put Rare on the map. I mean, Donkey Kong Country was the shit and everything.
Okay.
Goldeneye is a different beast in all its own because it's number one. It made first-person shooters something credible on a console. Number two, it made multiplayer fucking very awesome. Number three, it's based off of a movie and it's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
a movie
movie
title
fucking
that doesn't
Which
flow.
never, ever happens.
Yeah,
I know.
ever. I
think
still
it's-
remember going through game magazines and looking at screenshots of it, and the only thing that went through my head, which it's funny to say now, but I remember looking at screenshots and just going, holy shit, that is the most amazing game I've ever seen graphically. I can't believe games are going to look like this with
Yeah,
their
it was-
mitten hands.
It was good looking. It was good looking for the time. It met the visual standards of the day. It was beautiful. By the way, I got to throw that guy's name out there. His name was Steve Ellis, and he literally secretly programmed the multiplayer deathmatch mode into the game.
Well,
So
Steve,
basically-
Steve Ellis, on behalf of the Hate Bit podcast and many listeners out there, fucking thank you, sir. I know you
Yeah.
probably aren't listening to this, but goddammit, I have to say it anyway. Thank you.
Yeah,
He's a true advocate of couch gaming.
seriously. I mean, without that guy, how different would shooters be today?
How different would gaming be?
We won't
I
have time
know.
splitters, I'll tell you.
The entire and that was, by the way, that was Virtua Cop was a big inspiration for GoldenEye. The way that enemies react to different body parts being shot. We've talked about it on the
Mhm.
show before. It's one of
Yeah.
the laziest things about modern FPS games that when you shoot people in the hand, they don't really react to it anymore.
It's
And
like-
yet you go back to the N64 or Turok, and it's like every single body part gets shot. There's a different reaction. They don't do that anymore because, again,
Yeah.
annual assembly line. They don't. There's no love and passion put into making these games anymore, unfortunately.
Well, also don't forget the new games. GoldenEye, when you shot somebody, it was for a reason. Now it's just shoot, 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 shoot. You don't even see who you shot because you shot him. You move on.
No, there's a surprise. If you go back and play GoldenEye, especially a single player campaign, there's a lot of walking around through empty rooms.
Mhm.
To get to the next part. There's
Mhm.
there's a lot of shooting gallery sequences too, but
Sure.
there's a surprising amount of just walking around on your own and picking up items and figuring out how to operate a door, things like
Well,
that.
that
There's
plays
a lot
into
of-
suspense too. That plays
Exactly.
into the whole stealth
Made-
aspect.
It made the shooting more fun, and it made
Sure.
it made it more like adrenaline infused. Really, when
Yeah.
you get to the end of the facility mission, and all of a sudden all these Russian soldiers bust out of nowhere, and the gas tanks go up, and it was really good game design on a lot of levels. And we should also
you could
mention-
hold more than 2 weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should also mention it was originally intended to be a side scroller. It was not intended to be
Really?
a first. Yeah, they didn't even make the change to that until like a year out from release. So like,
Wow.
it's just crazy how many things happened. Like they didn't want to make a shooter, and it was. You also have to think there had been attempts for console shooters before, and Goldeneye had a major burden to try and make a good one on a console, and for all intents and
With a
purposes,
movie license, no less.
and a movie license, and it winds up being this massive success. It's just a huge accomplishment and a huge feather in the hat of Rare for all time. Period. I mean, no
and
matter.
Rare, we thank you.
Yes.
And on that note,
And that note, you know what? You've wasted another long segment of your life listening to the 8-Bit Podcast. We thank you for joining us. Today we learned that Nintendo Power going away, this is bullshit. We learned that Peter Moore just thinks that we're all a bunch of old fucks. And we figured out that, of course, mobile will destroy all. So, you know, that's what we've learned. And, yeah, so fuck everyone. I'm the Mighty Yell Chaos. Joining me has been the Ruinous Razor Fist.
Thank you for joining us, God fucking speed.
The Slaughterous Sainted Magnus.
slice and dice, slice and dice.
And once again, the guy who would destroy Phyllis Diller, living or dead, the annihilative.
And that sound effect was not me falling over dead, I assure you 100%. I'm alive and well, unlike
I'm
the corpse
coming
I
for you,
just
Phyllis!
riddled.
Sorry, Phyllis.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yes.
Phyllis.
Sorry
Anyway,
about that, Phyllis, and to her family.
you guys have been great. We have been the 8-Bit Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Bit Podcast.
Right. Speak.
Nipples.
Right. Get on with
Nipples.
All right. And how do you say virgin in German? Guten Tag.
it. Well, we can get on with it. Get it started.
All right, let's do it. Are you ready? Let's do it. Here we go. Outtakes. Anyway, here we go. 3, 2, 1.